A little disclaimer before we get rolling here. You're about to hear some ads. They are all from local entities that want to support the baseball community. A lot of these guys have deep connections. We're players themselves, so if you see having a need for any one of these services, please go patronize these guys. Thank you. We are also brought to you by Cardinal Cleaning. They can be reached at cardinalcleaningonline.com and 217-679-6567. The owner-operator, Adam Springer, local baseball dude, family friend, stand out at Chatham Glenwood in the mid-'90s. Also had a stellar career at Rend Lake and Kentucky Wesleyan. Cardinal Cleaning can take care of any cleaning needs you have. Home, business, restaurant, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you need, they can take care of you. Get a hold of Cardinal Cleaning. They'll do the rest. We are also brought to you by Milner Dentistry, located at 755 South Grand Avenue West. They can be reached at 217-528-3384. Dr. Ty and his staff are incredible. The place is clean. They do amazing work. They can handle all your dentistry needs. Thanks again to Dr. Ty for agreeing to sponsor us here. He was a standout at Rochester, SCI, and then later had a really cool story of walking on at the U of I. Have a ton of respect for this guy. Please go support Dr. Ty and Milner Dentistry. We are also brought to you by Matt Brewer. Matt is an attorney here in town at the law offices of Stephen Kelly. Matt exclusively practices in the areas of personal injury and workers' compensation. He can be reached at 217-544-8000 or mbrewer@stephenkelly.com. I loved competing against this guy growing up. He was an SHG grad, 2002, stud in football and baseball, went on to star for Dan Callahan at SIU Carbondale, and then had a one-year career pitching in the Diamondbacks organization. I ran into this guy the other day. He looks like he could still lace him up. We appreciate you, Matt. We are also brought to you by Sheehan and Sheehan Lawyers, located at 1215 South 4th Street, Suite A. They can be contacted at 217-544-0701. I'm talking Pat Sr., Pat Jr., and Willie. They can be contacted for adoption needs, agricultural law, business and commercial law, estate planning, real estate planning, taxation, traffic and minor traffic offenses, personal injury, wrongful death suits. And I grew up with Willie playing baseball on the Southwest Braves. We were state champs. He played high school baseball and soccer at SHG. Pat Jr. was an accomplished baseball player at SHG, SCI, and finally the U of I. We really appreciate the Sheens here. Love this guy. Love this family. Great, great family. So go see these guys. Appreciate you. We are also brought to you by Sitco Chiropractic. They can be reached at 217-525-2035 and sitcochiropractic.com. They offer chiropractic care, corrective exercises, lifestyle advice, nutritional counseling, spinal and postural screenings. They are located at 205 North Grand Avenue. Love the Sitco family. From the dad, Steven, to Kyle and Casey, I grew up with them. Their brother, Tyler, was a big-time baseball player at SHG and SCI. There's a reason they have over 70 ratings on Google, and they're all 5.0. These guys are great. I went to them a few years back for some back issues I was having. They'll fix you right up. Go see Sitco Chiropractic. All right. Who is the funniest teammate you have ever had?
Oh, man. Funniest teammate I've ever had. Gosh, man. I have played with some characters. I think the funniest team I ever played on was the ones that I knew the best. So that had to be the Stallion squad from back in the day for sure. Man, it's the funniest teammate.
Those Stallions led by Beardo and Hurwitz are two of the funniest guys that I know in the first place. So that must have been a funny team.
Honestly, man, yeah. I got to say, just in totality, that team in general, man. We spent so much time together, so many years together, so many funny moments. Like, I couldn't even pick one specific person. I think I would just say all of the personalities of that bunch just
all together.
Yeah, mixed together.
Yeah. You can tell how special the Stallions team was to you in that time period of your life. It's really cool.
Well, and that's, everybody that comes on and talks about their days, playing travel ball. I would venture to guess that most people are going to say, like, that's their core memories of baseball is that summer ball. Just because you're playing all over the place, you're in the car all the time.
Absolutely.
You're grilling out in the parking lot of hotels. Like, you just spend so much time together.
You become brothers.
Yeah. I mean, the ones that are lucky. You know, I
100%.
played with guys that were, you know, playing with a different team every weekend, and they never got that true like experience. They got to play great baseball all the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't substitute that, but just the overall comfort.
Yeah.
From mom and dad to little
yeah.
kids, you know, got little brothers and sisters.
It's a little community.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely is. You know, for those that are fortunate enough.
Yeah,
for sure.
Guys, hey, we are back. This is the Post Game Spread podcast. I'm your host, Blake Helm. With me for part 2 is Ryan Aper, my brother. Thank you for coming back and giving me the time. Part 1 could not have gone better. I have to give you so much thanks and gratitude, man. I have had this idea to get this rolling for so long. We have, and for you to come on and do so amazing and make it so easy for me the first time we did it, I just have to say thanks, brother. And I'm super excited to dig into your pro ball experience and how that was for you and life after and everything. So thanks again for being here, bud.
Absolutely, man. Same, reciprocated for sure. It was very easy to do, so I want to emphasize that for those that, you know, we reach out to in the future. Very, very easy. We make it very easy. Blake makes it very easy. It's just it's an easy conversation to have. It's one you don't often have, so I'm equally as grateful. It's fun to, you know, I said this in the last one too. It's fun to dig into the memory bank. I feel like we put this on a pretty big cliffhanger. So I was a 3 or 4 year guy washed out in the minor leagues, but I appreciate the fact that you put the time in to put this all together and just make it easy for me, man. It's been great.
Speaking of it being easy, man, we ended up rolling for 2.5 hours talking before we even got to pro ball. So I had no idea how long this was going to last or how much I would be able to talk or we would talk, but you made it so easy and you did so well. And I remember going back after we first spoke and being like, okay, I'm going to trim some fat. But there was absolutely nothing to trim. It was lesson after lesson. Every story connected a dot. It was amazing, man. I just thought you dropped so much knowledge. I hope there's some younger guys that listen to this. And I really especially loved how you kept coming back to showing gratitude for all the people that were in your life and all the support that you had. And it takes a village, you know, and you had all these people help you along the way, and it was really special to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that I tried to just be cognizant of was, you know, all that was around me, especially now removed. And I think that's one of the things that we've talked about a lot as we put this together or talked about it before we actually recorded the first show was, you know, really just trying to pull those life lessons out. And I think that's one thing that, you know, you and I will get into today because now it's, you know, I'm older now. I'm getting older throughout this, you know, the professional experience that I had. And I think that's when, for me, it really started, all the life lessons really started to stick out. And through those trials and tribulations, you know, you got to cling on to something. I never wanted to hate the game of baseball. I never wanted to let my failures get me to the point where I hated it. So instead of,
it's easy to do that too.
It's so easy, man, especially with your livelihood. You
Sure.
know, that's how you're putting food on the table. Right. Literally at that point for me, that was my job. Yeah, like that was what I was receiving a paycheck to do. And to struggle, you know, if anybody's ever had a job where they weren't good at it, it's not a good feeling.
No,
you know, whether it's baseball or, you know, changing oil or, you know, putting groceries away or chopping trees down. I mean, it's nothing that you want to. If you're getting paid to do it, I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know. I would assume that's probably you and a lot of people.
Yeah, anyone.
If you're doing it, you want to do it well.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, that was for me. I had to find a way to spin it to, you know, just find the good in all the mess that I felt like I was in. I wasn't in a mess. I was still blessed, you know, beyond measure to be in those positions, but even more fortunate to have had all the support and the coaching and just the people in my corner throughout it all. Like, I'd be a total fool to pass over that, you know, to not stop and realize, appreciate, you know, those people or those moments. So that's the easy part, you know, for me is to just be thankful for all that it took to get me there and to keep me sane throughout it all also too.
Dude, that is beautiful. Let's not get too far ahead of our story here. I don't want to give it away before we get into all the fun nuts and bolts. One thing I have to revisit before we really get into all the fun stuff here is I can't believe I left it out. So when Ryan Aper here was 2013 JUCO Player of the Year?
Yeah.
He beat out Tim Anderson. That is Tim Anderson of the White Sox.
All-star shortstop.
Yep, he won the batting title a few years back. And I asked Aper previous to talking here if he would be willing to share this because it's a funny little story. And
It's funny because you and I can laugh, you know. If I couldn't laugh at it, it would not be funny. I would be kicking rocks somewhere. But so we had actually played against each other our sophomore year, Tim Anderson and I's sophomore year, early in the year. And it was before he knew who I was, before I knew who he was. It was just later on in the year we were the two that were going back and forth on every offensive category. And when it came down to it, like for the Player of the Year race, it was him and I. Well, Tim Anderson's projected to be, top 5, top 10 pick, and I can't remember what exactly he went. I want to say it was like 15 to 20 maybe in the first round.
Yeah.
And to see that, and it was a cool notch on the belt. Don't get me wrong. To beat out a guy that went in the first round.
Sure.
But then I took it upon myself to reach out to Tim, and I did first and foremost to congratulate him.
This is so great.
But then I had to be like, hey man, race you to the show.
There it is.
And, Dude, I think he spent maybe a year and a half, 2 years in the minor leagues. My second year in the minor leagues, I was like questioning my religion. Like I didn't know which way was up. And this dude's just fast track, beeline to the show, gets to the league, like rookie of the year, maybe, batting title, and now he's going to sign. I think this is his contract year. He'll probably get 7 years, $300 million, $250 million.
Seriously.
Yeah. So funny.
Didn't age well.
It did not age well.
Super well.
Tweets that did not age well.
Hilarious. And you know what? I do think you have to be in that confident type of state, headspace to be a successful professional baseball player. So no knock to you at all doing that. I'm glad you can laugh on that, and thank you for sharing that with us because it's a hilarious little part of your journey, bud.
Yeah, it was funny. I don't know that I ever even believed it when I asked him. I was like, first round, White Sox. But it was in good fun. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
We had kind of, I wouldn't say kept tabs on each other, but in the off season, we'd message each other back and forth just here and there. Just how's it going? What are you doing training wise? Stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's really cool, and that was probably the coolest part of pro ball. I mean, honestly, is just still today there's guys that I played with or against that are doing it on
Absolutely.
TV, and
yeah.
to know that you were there brushing shoulders with these guys. It's cool, man. It's like that's one of the coolest takeaways for me, for sure. I mean, I'm not a big sports jersey owner, but if I was to buy jerseys, like I know right now, there's 3 or 4 guys whose jerseys I would absolutely pay money just out of support for them and their character, because there's a lot of people that we're idolizing as kids that are like the total wrong people to idolize. I'm just going to be blunt about that. Yeah. They always say don't meet your idols,
100%.
Don't meet your heroes, whatever. Yeah. I never had any crazy situations like that where I was like, wow, this guy's a terrible person or anything. I actually had quite the opposite, really. But, I could see where that would be a thing. But, I mean, yeah, that was the coolest thing. It's just like guys like Tim Anderson, just to see them still doing it at a high level, that's one of the coolest parts of the whole thing.
I love it, man. All right, so where we left off with Ryan was he had just gotten drafted in the 6th round by the Miami Marlins. He got about $250,000, but we were feeling kind of surprised, I guess you could say, that the Marlins drafted you. They didn't show a whole lot of interest, or they had you down for a workout, but there was no other talks after that or anything. You were surprised and kind of like, what's going on? So you had just come from the very top of the mountain, being the JUCO Player of the Year. We're drafted in the 6th round, $250,000. Take us through what's going on next, man.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit on the last, the end of the last episode, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. And I feel like what I want to say and emphasize the most is that it was absolutely a dream come true. Never once in the process or the stresses was it taken for granted. I was certainly very well aware of how special of circumstances I was in and how fortunate I was to have found myself in these instances where I'm actually I guess bartering with a Major League Baseball team
over your worth. That must
right?
be
yeah, it was, and I think I did say this in the last time. That throughout the entire process, it was like this is literally my dream. So by no means was I going to let pennies hold me up. I knew what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I knew how special the opportunity was, but I also knew the importance of not letting them dictate how much I get paid, because that can affect kids years from now. I mean, that slotted value, if you're going way under the slot, that just throws the whole metrics off. Absolutely. small fish, big pond. There's 40 rounds in the draft. You know, would my pick, if I signed for $50,000 less, would that have had some long-lasting impact on the 172nd overall pick? Absolutely not. But for me, you know, I had that, you know, kind of 200,000 mark in my mind as being life-changing money, and to just be just under that, it was like almost like a tease, like a slap in the face kind of thing. And that was really what
slap in the face. That's kind of like maybe a foreshadow of things to come here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not to get ahead of you.
No, good point though. You know, it was just weird, man. It just happened really quick, and it wasn't the way that I thought it would be. I thought it would just be this, you know, nice, like awesome congratulatory process. We're so happy to have you, and then right off the bat, it's like, hey man, we're not going to give you what this pick is worth.
Yeah.
And so
we don't value is that.
Or, and that's, you know, it's
a respect thing in some ways.
I felt like it was. I felt like if I'm a guy that's putting up even remotely comparable numbers at a big D1 school, they're going over slot, no question.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they're not messing around under slot unless you're a senior sign.
Right.
You know, certain circumstances will dictate the amount of money that you even have an opportunity to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fifth-year seniors aren't getting $100,000; they're getting $10,000, a suitcase, and a plane ticket.
That's 100%,
you know, and I knew I was fortunate to not be that guy. I knew I was fortunate to still have a Division I school to fall back on. Yeah. But it was just so. Man, it just caught me off guard. It just caught me totally off guard.
It's a weird way to start your career.
Well, and you know, the fact that I had it worked out with the Red Sox was what really made it so weird. Like, I'm just waiting for this pick to pass because I know I'm going next.
Yeah, you think you're Red Sox.
And then it's one early, and I'm just, you know, shocked. You know, I would have been as equally shocked to have heard my name go to the next pick to the Red Sox, even though I already, like, came to agreement with them. But just, you know, it just didn't feel right. As soon as it happened, there was just something where I was like, it just didn't feel right, and it never really ever felt right.
Yeah.
You know, it never felt like I had the right people in my corner at any point in my career.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know that changes if I go anywhere else. I don't know that my performance is any better or worse if I go anywhere else. But that feeling, you know, would stick with me throughout my couple years there with them. Just that it was, you know, undervalued, I guess I would say.
Yeah,
I felt very undervalued from the very get-go, which, you know, you try and use that as kind of a chip on your shoulder.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'll go, you know, prove my worth then. I'll prove my worth even more.
I could see you redirecting it in that direction.
Yeah, and I tried. You know, I definitely tried, and I think with that just came more and more pressure. I kind of talked about this the last time. Yeah. I let a lot of things outside of my control dictate what I thought I was dealing with. If I just showed up to the park every day and played ball, those were the guys that are still playing today. The guys that were 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4, but they were player X every day. They weren't player X on a high after a 4 for 4. They weren't player X on a low.
It's so difficult to do. Everyone says to do that. You know, don't get too high, too low, but it's so hard to not ride those waves.
You know, you could argue that ignorance is bliss, right?
Yes, dude.
If you don't find yourself caught up in the short term, if you can just fully invest and believe in yourself, I don't think that you experience that. And it's so hard. I mean, that's why there's only how many guys are in the major leagues? It's like around 1,000 maybe?
Is that what it is? Yeah.
A couple hundred? I don't know. I mean, there's not many guys in the league every year.
Yeah.
And it's that way for a reason. There's a reason why guys turn into 5, 10, 15-year vets.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to master. Just the overall utmost confidence.
Yeah, a mental grind.
At all times, man. Yeah. At all times. You know, the one thing that I will say about the Marlins before we get into all the, you know, crazy stuff that they did, that went on, you know, not that it was bad, it was just different. But they had a mental skills coach, like a psych guy, you know, and he was a head sports psychology guy at the University of Miami. His name is Dr. Rob Seifert. Amazing, incredible person. Spent a lot of time with him. Really tried to buy into what he was teaching. Every time he was in the room, man, I was just fixated on this guy.
Okay.
Like,
so you realized early that this could be something that could help.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I was just I don't want to say I was a mental midget, but I was pretty close to a mental midget. You know, it's kind of a term that you hear thrown around on the ball field. When things are great, he's great. When it's bad, he's bad.
I absolutely struggled in the same way.
Yeah, and I was just fortunate enough to rely on my God-given abilities that got me through that stuff. You know, I didn't have to I was never in the lows very long until I got to pro ball.
Yeah, first struggles.
I was, I mean, literally the first time I'd ever
Learning to struggle for the first time
on
in
a
pro
baseball
ball.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I mean, I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day. Just life experiences and stuff like that. It was, just one of those random out of the blue conversations.
Sure.
But, just being humbled.
Yeah.
I'd never been humbled.
Man, baseball will humble you.
I had people that kept me humble. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
My parents kept me grounded, obviously. They kept me focused, never let me get too big of a head. But I had never been humbled in the sense of, like, the game had never humbled me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you had always been that dude just running leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, are we getting there yet? Or I guess we're slowly getting there.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it was just a struggle right out of the gate.
Yeah.
From the draft day.
Yeah.
Struggle,
right.
know.
So let's pause there for a second. You get drafted. Are you going pretty quickly to rookie ball?
So there was a few days. Yeah, it was within the week. I mean, after the draft, I think I had maybe 2 days at home.
Okay.
And then I was on an airplane.
Man.
Get down to the facility. First day, I was actually a day later than most, I believe. Okay. So a lot of the guys.
You went to extended or rookie?
So they just sent us, like, straight to the facility down in Jupiter out of the draft. The whole draft class just kind of got there. We gathered. We met. Did the handshake and everything.
Yeah.
And then the plan for me is that. Do you want to get to that point? Like, what was the plan for me after the draft?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say a few things before you get rolling. That I think it would be really cool if along the way here I really would like you to paint a picture of what minor league life is like. The pay, the housing, the bus rides, the teammates,
I got some
stadiums, accommodations,
housing stories,
all that stuff. I just don't want that to be lost. So let's start rolling here. You get drafted. We're starting our career.
Yep. So I'm on an airplane within the week. I think, like I said, I had 2 or 3 days at home after the draft. I know I did actually because it might have been a week, dude. Honestly, it might have been a week or two because I was spending the first several days after my name was called just on contract stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we got to that 225 figure that I officially agreed. Did the faxing of the paperwork and signed, and then after I signed, it was like 2 or 3 days. So I got down there a couple days later. And the guys that got there early, had already got their drug tests and their physicals out of the way and stuff. So mine was held up. And it was actually crazy because, their plan for me was to send me up to short season low A, which is where the New York Penn League, Batavia Muck Dogs, we were up in Batavia, New York. And the plan for me was to go. That's generally where most of the college signs go.
Okay.
They were unsure of what to do with me, because of where I came from, being a junior college in Midwest.
Like they were doubting the competition.
Yeah, they were
stacked
well,
up
and I hadn't played either. Like our last game was early May.
Yeah.
I talked about this the last time. I traveled, did the showcase thing, so I wasn't like I wasn't doing baseball activities.
You weren't seeing live.
I wasn't seeing live pitching. Yeah, so
huge.
But they were so like had I got there, when everybody else did, I would have got my physical out of the way. I would have been able to get on the field, take in and out. Because when I showed up, like that's what they were doing. They were taking in and out, and I just want to, for a minute, like the first thing that I saw when I got to the Marlins facility.
Yeah, give me this moment.
We walk out and we see them taking in and out.
Okay.
And all the outfielders are throwing the ball directly to the cutoff man. They're relays to third.
Are you used to airing it out a little more?
Relay to ground ball, from center field to third base.
Marlins way, I guess.
From center field to third base, and then I'm throwing through a cutoff man, and no shot. Like,
especially with the cannon, yeah.
I wasn't even considering a cutoff guy. I'm like, this is so weird,
What is a cutoff?
So they, they move around from left, center, right. Everybody's throwing through the cutoff. It wasn't like they were throwing to him, but everything was low.
Yeah.
And same thing, ground ball, center field. I'm watching this guy throw, and everybody's throwing the ball low, but it was like, one hops to home plate. I'm like, why would we? If the game's on the line, I promise you, I'm not one hopping a ball to home plate.
If you got it, yeah.
I mean, I'm not even considering. I don't even care if the cutoff man's shoes were stuck in the ground and he was trying to dig them out. It doesn't matter. Like, it was not even a thought to me. So I was just so taken back by that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do anything. Like my physical took forever. They took forever to get the drug test results back. It was me and like 3 other guys. We're the last ones there.
Yeah.
So we're like literally sitting there. There's me, a kid from University of Kentucky, a kid from University of Tampa, and one other place. I can't remember. But we're just sitting there, and we're supposed to break with the short season team. Like, they fly up there.
Yeah.
And we're not even sure we're going to be able to go. They didn't have any of the stuff back. And so at the last moment, they're like, hey, pack your bags. Bus is getting ready to leave. Like, you just got cleared. So we're like, dude, what is going on, you know?
Uh-huh.
So, you know, we get up there to Batavia, and I think it was like 2 days that we got to get settled in with our host family. They had assigned host families for us.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It
Your
was
host family
awful.
was?
The people were great, but the situation was
I had a few
not
stinkers
good,
myself,
man.
bud.
So it's myself and a guy by the name of Scott Carcasey and a Venezuelan, Luis Castillo, not the one that played for a long time in the major leagues, but a different one. Which was cool. I mean, I'm like, awesome, man, diversity. Like, I've never even like spoken to somebody from Venezuela before. Like, this would be awesome. And he spoke a lot of English, so he was kind of like our one that, you know, bridged the gap, you know, in terms of language barrier. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to like get to know him. But man, so I'm on a twin size mattress. My roommate Scott was 6'5", 6'6", every bit of 250, 260. He's sleeping on a pull-out couch. And then the other guy was on a twin-size mattress, like, adjacent to him. And this is in, like, a 12-by-12 room.
It's not a glamorous life, guys.
We got a TV. Our shower is in the middle of the room, and it's got that smoky mirrored, so, like, you can't see them, but you can see their outline.
What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. Dude, it's me and these two other guys, you know, grown men. It was paying $75 a week, whether we were there or not. I mean, there were several weeks where we were gone 5-6 days. Right. Still had to pay your $75 a week.
Yeah.
Getting paid $1,200, $1,100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't feed us. We bought our own groceries. We never came home to
scraping by.
Yeah, scraping by, and I'm not complaining.
That's the way. That's the minor league way.
Yeah, gracious enough to give us a place to sleep.
Yeah. Although recently, in the past couple of years, haven't they been like upping the money for minor leaguers?
They have changed it drastically, and it's incredible.
That's not the experience you had.
Not at all. And I'm so happy for them because it gets worse. Yeah. I mean, my living situation gets worse. This was probably, hindsight 2020. This was probably one of the better that I had.
Oh boy!
Outside of like truly living in a hotel for like 4 months straight.
Yeah.
This was probably one of the better that I had. But there were some guys, man, that had it way better than we did. That's the only thing that made us kind of, feel a little salty about it, because there were some dudes that were coming home to like ribeyes, New York strips, like getting fed.
Yeah,
like,
with host family. Yeah,
eating good, and. Whatever. It was what it was. It was not glamorous. No. I mean, when I got up out of my bed, I had to turn sideways and like shimmy in between myself and my 6'5", 260 roommates pull-out couch mattress.
How were you eating during this? Like, you're
awful,
man. Yeah, awful.
I mean, what you can. You're obviously not living at McDonald's every night.
Right.
You try not to. We were in Batavia, New York. New York's got great pizza. We were, we had a deal. See, the problem was like our home games wouldn't get over until 10:30.
Yeah.
Or we wouldn't get out of there until about then. So you're eating leftover ravioli from 3 days ago in the clubhouse lunch, at dinner, or you're going to get. We had like a deal with this one pizza place in town that they would like stay open till like 10:15, 10:30 for us to get orders in. So we're eating a lot of pizza.
What are you weighing?
Man, I probably was like 170, 175.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what I was. My playing weight after that year, because I did go and put on a pretty good amount of weight that offseason. My playing weight always was about 180, 185.
Yeah.
So I was probably 165, 170, I would say.
I knew that was always a struggle for you trying to put more weight on. The organization wanted you to put weight on.
Yeah, big emphasis on that, which I knew that.
Sure.
That was nothing that I wasn't prepared for. Yeah. But just playing-wise, so we get up there. We scrimmaged the first couple days, and I got some live ABs and that, and just swing just felt weird.
Okay.
And the baseball was different, man. Like I can't emphasize that enough.
Going from the JUCO ball to a professional ball.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
It moves. It travels through space differently than a regular baseball. The seams are lower.
Absolutely.
The ball's a little bit thicker. It's a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it just moves different, man. It naturally. Like if you've got any tilt, any hook to your grip on a fastball, it's going to run heavier or it's going to cut harder. I mean, it's just natural movement. Really comes out with these baseballs, and fastballs get on you quick.
Yeah,
and so fast forward my first game, I'm batting like in the 9-hole playing center field. My first at bat of pro ball, dude, was this lefty. He was from like San Diego State. He was sitting like 92, 95. Mm-hmm. Crazy run. I mean, to me, it was crazy run.
Like nothing you'd ever seen
just
before.
a wipeout slider, nasty changeup. This dude goes 1 pitch, 2 pitch, 3 pitch, and I'm already walking back to the dugout. that was my break into pro ball. I hadn't seen live pitching, in that setting in over a month. I'd never seen an arm like that, never seen a baseball like that. It was just, dude, I mean, talk about being overpowered from the start.
Yeah.
And I never got my feet under me. Like, I never did.
How was your confidence just getting there in the first place? Like, when you just step foot on the facility, are you still feeling very confident about all your ability and how things are going to go for you? Are you feeling doubt? I mean, that can be a powerful moment. Your first, step into pro ball.
It was really, for me, it was, and again, man, this is where this was to my demise. So when I say this, I don't speak of it as if it was a strength. Mm-hmm. I wore it like I needed to prove my worth. And I don't know if that was because of the contractual thing that I went through at the draft, like when I got picked.
Being a 6th rounder.
I don't know if it was that or if it was just that I had that egotistical thing of like,
I'm a 6th rounder.
Yeah, like if I had that or if it was a culmination of all things, considered. But it really just didn't work out for me, man. Whatever my mindset was, it just didn't work out. I felt like I was in prove it mode from the start. Mm-hmm. As opposed to just like let's let it eat, let's see what we got, rung what you brung type of thing, just I never really got to the point of just having like a firm belief that I belonged.
Interesting.
It was like I was trying to convince myself that I was a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Because, and I said this in the last one, it was just all so incredibly surreal for me.
Yeah.
Even my sophomore season at Lincoln Land. I mean,
that was a surreal year. Absolutely.
It was all surreal because I knew it wasn't.
It was all a dream.
Exactly. It was all a dream. And I knew that wasn't repeatable. Yeah. Like, I knew that those stats.
Right. You can't put those stats up.
If I play 162 games that sophomore season, I don't finish that way. I mean, I just hit a stretch where, dude, I was hitting, just beach balls.
Yeah.
Until now I'm in pro ball. Fast forward literally a month, I'm hitting marbles with a pool stick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it felt like. And I remember
change. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I remember calling my dad, and just being like, man, like, I couldn't describe it. Like when I was taking infield, outfield, or even just shagging in BP, I was always a really good outfielder. Like all my defensive abilities were never a doubt for me. Like if there's one thing that I always was very confident in, it was my speed, my arm, and my defensive abilities.
It doesn't slump.
And I'm being BP, shagging in center field, and I cannot get under a ball.
What?
I can't get under a ball. I couldn't describe it. I thought it was my eyes. I went to an eye doctor like 3 times over the course of like a week. I'm wearing like sport lens contacts. Uh-huh. I changed my prescription. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
Because I can't get under a baseball. It's falling and it's catching. It's like
you've never
drifting.
seen it move like this before.
I've never seen I'm used to a ball going up and coming down.
Yeah.
The air is lighter in New York.
Sure.
So these balls are coming at it like an angle. They're like catching with the wind, like the seams. It's like a backspun baseball where it's like rising. So as this ball's coming down, I'm thinking it's going to go up and straight down. It's pushing me back, and I'm consistently reaching behind my head.
Yeah.
I'm just
not a great look for an outfielder.
I'm just trying to get behind a baseball. I'm just trying to prepare, like to practice my transfer, my exchange, my visualize a guy tagging up on me at home, and I can't get behind a ball.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where my coach for the Muck Dogs is like out in center field with me. I had never had a coach be like, hey, we need to work on defense.
Right.
My defensive abilities were always top tier, always.
Absolutely,
even before I got like good at baseball, around that year in high school, like my defensive abilities were never a question. And I'm standing in center field with this guy, and he's like trying to teach me how to play outfield.
Oh my gosh. What I can imagine some things running through your head at this point.
And I just go back to the prove it thing.
Yeah.
Like, dude, did I deserve that? Did I deserve to be a 6th round pick? Like, I can't even catch a fly ball now.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, MJ lost his secret stuff. Like, seriously, though.
Yeah.
Like, it was
There's
like.
those seeds of doubt creeping in.
Yeah, man. Right off the start, I'm getting just completely obliterated in the box. I'm getting terrible jumps on baseballs. Mm-hmm. I'm dropping balls. Like, dude, my first 3 weeks were bad. Like, the worst baseball in my life. Bad. I don't know what my stats were, but I don't know that I had a hit through like the first 2 weeks. I think my first hit was like a swinging bunt.
In your defense, though, it's not uncommon at all for people to come in and struggle right away in pro ball, even if they absolutely were monsters in college or high school. And that first season kind of being tough, figuring it out, getting used to wood bats and better competition, better pitching and travel and all these things, and then coming back and getting their feet underneath them in their second year.
Yeah, which, I was trying to give myself some leeway, some grace, I guess. But man, when you're caught up in that and and this is now your livelihood, and I was all in on it being my livelihood.
100%. Yeah.
It just ripped away at my like who I was. Like I was already like upside down treading water quickly. Yeah, dude. But and so to kind of backpedal a little bit, when I talk about that just unwavering confidence, had I been that guy, those that are that guy get through that like a breeze.
They do. Man, that's such a great point.
They get through it like a breeze, and they're right back on track. They're hitting 250 by the end of the month. They're 275 at the end of the next month, and then they're right around that 280, 310 mark.
It's like they can block out all the negatives, all the strikeouts, all the bad swings, and purely focus on the positives or the hits or the solid contact, and just let it be. Let it go.
Let it be, man. Yeah. I mean, I think about a guy like this may not be the best experience or the best person to use, but I think about Nolan Arenado.
Okay.
And I just look at him as like such a guy that is so unbothered by struggles. Like I think he's going through a patch right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was just so many guys like that. Well, actually there wasn't. Sorry. There was not many guys like that. I was not the only one who was freaking out.
Sure.
I was not the only one who was struggling for the first time.
Yeah.
But there were a few that got through it real quick, and they were right back to who they were 3 months ago, as the college guy, the high school guy. And most of them were the ones that continued to progress and move on and are still playing in some capacity.
Yeah. It can't be overstated how important that skill is to succeed and keep progressing through professional baseball. Just like you said, those are the guys that make it to the top. They have the talent and the mental makeup.
Yeah,
100%.
And ignorance is bliss, man.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be dumb enough to be all in on yourself.
I think there's a great story about, I think Billy Beane said it about Lenny Dykstra maybe, about playing with Lenny. Billy Beane, the general manager of the A's back in the day, had a story about Lenny Dykstra where he was, what was it? Lenny was having, it was Lenny's confidence. It was Lenny forgot anything negative that happened and only registered positivity. Didn't care who was on the mound. I think there was a story about like Steve Carlton was out there. And Billy Beane's all scared to face him, and Lenny's like, I don't give a shit who this is. Like, I'm gonna go rip this. Lenny hits doubles, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Lenny didn't care about any of the negatives.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it is tough. It's very, very tough. Especially, I had never seen a baseball be thrown at 100 miles an hour. I'm not afraid to admit that.
So you went from Lincoln Land. So what would you say the velo and kind of stuff you were seeing at Lincoln Land was?
I mean, the best arms were 88, 92.
Yeah.
Good pitchers, but still a different baseball. I mean, you give those guys a minor league baseball, I think they're much better as well.
Okay.
But man, I mean, it was nuts. It really was nuts. I mean, it was just so hard for me to grasp. It was like, dude, I've never seen a ball move like this before.
Yeah, just better velocity and movement.
Movement. I mean, sharp break. Like, curveballs, tight curveballs that were not. They were fastballs until they hit home plate, and then they were. In the other batter's box. And it's, everybody always said once you get to pro ball, like the easiest level to hit at is in the major leagues because those guys, they're nasty.
They know where it's going.
They're trying to spot up in the strike zone.
Yeah.
They want that slider to start behind you and end up on the, inner corner.
Yeah.
And these guys, in the lower levels, dude, you got some gunslingers, man. These guys got no clue where the balls are going, man. No clue where the balls are going. And they're throwing pitches that they don't even know that they can throw. Like the ball is just moving every which way. Yeah, just figuring it out, just like everybody else. But yeah, so that was a trip, man. It was a very weird time for me because I was wanting so badly to just go out and play the game that I loved.
Yeah.
Do it at the level that I was used to and grown accustomed to, I should say. I wasn't cutting it, man. I wasn't able to do it, and I made it about a month up in New York in the Penn League, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget it, man. Like, I'd heard stories. I knew nothing about the way the minor league system worked, so I didn't know, like, when guys were in town, it meant more. Uh-huh. That's when guys are starting to get shifted around, called up, sent down. Mm-hmm. In that short season league right out of the draft, I mean, that's all eyes are on that because they want that star out of the draft class for the publicity simply.
Okay.
And, obviously, the Marlins, they want guys that can go now. They need guys in the next year or two. So they're looking for that bunch.
Sure.
And if you're not, they want to get you out of the way. They want to get the next guy up.
Man, quick assessments, yeah.
Yeah, so the totality of my career was decided in that first month. I truly believe that. I handled it so poorly.
That's heavy.
I'm going to be very, very blunt. I handled it like a child. You know, I truly handled it like a child. I remember I got sent down. So the minor league coordinator came into town, and I was just starting to kind of hit the ball a little bit, better.
Mm-hmm.
I had hit a home run a couple days before. I was starting to, just defensively, I was getting it dialed in a little bit better.
Things are looking up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was starting to just play baseball again, and I felt like if you're a 6th-round pick, you're afforded some time to struggle.
One would hope.
One would assume, I guess. You're afforded some time to kind of figure yourself out. And I just wasn't at the pace that they believed I should have been.
Okay.
And really, looking back, this was not the end of my career, but I viewed it as like the end-all, be-all was when I got sent down.
Okay.
And I just I handled it so poorly.
Very hard and heavy for you.
Man, I remember just sobbing. Like, here these grown men are who do this for a living. They sent down 19, 20, 21-year-old kids for the last 10. Like, this is nothing for them. And I'm just crumbled in front of them.
How did that conversation go?
It was just simply like, and I don't know the exact words that were exchanged. I just remember it being like, hey, we wanted to see where you were at, and we feel like we got a good idea, so we want you to go down and get some more better, in a control environment. Because when you're in short season, you're not at the field at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. You show up for your early work, you get your stretches, you do your whatever, your prep, but you're not required to be there in the morning. So when you go to the Gulf Coast League, rookie ball, quote unquote, you are at the field at you're on the field at 8 a.m. You've got your pre-work, whether it's defensive or hitting. So you're at the field at 6:15 in the morning.
Yeah. You're
on the line for actual team practice at 8. So you're going through base running drills. You're going through bunt practice. You're going through defensive drills. You're doing in and outs. You're doing 27 outs. You're practicing. Like,
rookie ball is very unlike the rest of minor league ball.
Totally different. Yeah, okay. It's like the controlled environment of professional baseball.
Yeah.
So it's an all-day event, man. You're practicing from, like I said, 6:30 till about 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
You go in. You're in South Florida.
Yeah.
It's 100,000 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning already.
Yeah,
and 100% humidity every day.
Boy.
So you're practicing 8. Let's call it actual scheduled team practice 8 to about 11:30.
Okay.
You go in, you eat lunch, you're right back out on the line for a stretch, and you're playing a game at 12:30 against one of the other close by rookie ball teams. Yeah. So you're at the field every single day in South Florida heat, 6 a.m. to about 4:30 every day. If you got a road game where you're going to go, play against the Nationals, I can't remember where they were. If you're playing in St. Lucie against the Mets, I mean, you got a bus ride in there you got to figure in too. So sometimes we don't get back till 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
just
long days.
And it's Monday through Saturday. They give you Sundays off if you're doing well.
Yeah.
We never did well, so we didn't get many Sundays off. And, I mean.
What was your mentality like going down there? After you got sent down, are you able to, get your feet back on the ground here? Are you
just totally
still scuffling?
Depleted, man.
Really?
I just really let that
Knock
demotion just.
Yeah.
The whole thing that I was trying to do is prove my worth, and I just let them – I gave them so many reasons to demote me, to move me down, to digress, to backtrack, all that stuff. And then I'm just, just trying to get back to playing ball the way that I knew how to play it. Man. And, with that came a lot of outside opinions that I was open to. I was open to anything. I mean, anybody was a hitting coach to me at that point in time. I remember before I got sent down, I was working with this pitcher.
Okay.
Who would hit in college, and he's like, "Hey, you're kind of flicking the bat. You're flicking the bat." I'm like, "Dude, come in the cage with me. Come in here and watch me."
You'll do anything at this point to right the ship.
I tried. I was doing anything and everything, just taking advice from anybody, trying this stuff in the game.
This can be dangerous.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the unwavering confidence. Had I had even a blip of that, a small blip of that, I would have been so much better off. At least I could have believed in what I was failing at. But I had nothing to believe in.
Yeah.
Because I was just taking advice from everywhere. I was just letting it pour in, dude.
You're doing so good. You're killing it. Thank you. You're making this so easy. Oh, man. Okay. Speaking of, let's pause real quick because you're about to get into some interesting stuff. But I think this is really interesting that
a month before this, you're the junior college player of the year. You're on the very top of the mountain. You're 6th-round pick, all this. And now, a month later, this is where we're feeling mentally, where we're at with our confidence. It's crazy. I mean, that's truly top to bottom very quickly. I can imagine you're feeling a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, doubt for what, though? You know, as I look back, if there was advice that I could give myself or to another kid, doubt for what? None of this was by luck. None of this was by chance. I knew the hours that I had spent in the cage. I knew the love that I had for the game, the understanding that I had for the game, the drive that I had to be successful, to be at the top, to get everything that I had gotten. I knew that I had put that time and effort in, but I still just wasn't able to get over the thought of having to prove it.
Uh-huh.
And it was, and again, this is all self-induced.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was nobody that knocked on my door and said, "Hey, man, you better go prove yourself now."
You're putting the pressure
we
on
think
yourself.
you're a fluke. Yeah, it's all self-induced.
You wanted to live up to these expectations of what you had for yourself, but also I think what you thought others had for you. Like you talked a lot about wanting to be that guy that people remembered.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I've been humbled. That's an ego-driven.
Oh, baseball.
That's an ego-driven ideology right there.
Absolutely.
To try and go out and prove it, to want to be the reason somebody says I know that guy. To give them a cool, see him on TV. That's all ego-driven. And
that's a part of baseball though too.
Yeah, but when you zoom out and where I am now, that's one of the experiences that I had that I went through that humbled me.
Man.
That gave me a totally different perspective on life. Once I was able to step back, remove myself, take a deep breath, exhale. Not have another game to prepare for. This was all things that happened after the fact. All these takeaways were all much later down the road. But, yeah, I mean, when I got demoted, man, it was just so heavy on me. That was it was so quick. Like you said, it would just happen so fast, man. So fast. Yeah, life does. And it doesn't care. Life does not care.
No.
Nobody cares. Everybody's just trying to drive their own ship. Everybody's just trying to do good for themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
And I talked about this on the last time on the first one too, but no longer is it a team-based sport.
Yeah, and I remember you talking about how that was kind of disheartening for you because you really enjoyed that team aspect.
Yeah, I can get behind an 0-for-4 game if we won, if we beat a team that we shouldn't beat, if we competed, if we did all the right things and just got beat, but when you're getting interviewed after the games, it wasn't tell me about, I mean, if you're on a 10-game winner, 10-game streak, they want to talk about that. But mostly it's how did you do today? Yeah. What were your takeaways today? How was your 1-for-5 performance? And everything just becomes so individualized. And
it didn't feel like you were part of a close-knit team.
No, I mean, none of us knew anybody.
Right,
that was the first time in my life I'd been in that. Up. Yeah, and I guess that was maybe to my demise as well. So had I gone to a different school where I didn't know 12 of the 26 of us day one, maybe I'm over that. Maybe that part of it is already embedded in my mind. I've already had that experience of where this is no longer about your brothers.
Yeah.
This is about you, and let's hope for a dub. But if we lose, how did I do personally? You know, and I just never had anything to cling on to after that. And this is going to be maybe a little bit of cry wolf, but my manager that I had in Batavia, man, just a weird shake out there. I never felt like this guy wanted me around. This guy ended up being a coach of mine, a manager of mine in some form or fashion the majority of my minor league career, and I just couldn't.
Moving with you, didn't he?
I could not get away from this guy, man.
Right,
I couldn't get away from
not be in your corner.
I'll share this. So we're in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. One of the Parr brothers, actually from U of I, the lefty, he was with the Phillies. I'll remember this play forever. He hits a little like a flare gap shot into left center. So he's a lefty. So this ball's cutting away from me. I get a great jump on this ball. I make a diving catch. I come in and the manager, I'm not gonna name his name, but the manager grabs my hat, grabs me by the bill of my hat, and this dude's 5'2", 75 pounds, Latin guy, I won't get into that. He was a good manager. I mean, he really had high expectations, but he yanks me by the bill of my hat. My sunglasses go flying, and then he's grabbing on my jersey on the other hand, and he's just MFing me. Calling me lazy, saying I'm Showtime, saying I'm just. He's like, you're hitting a 100, you're not even hitting your weight. you want to be a superstar in the outfield, make these cool diving plays. He's like, you aren't shit. You're not shit. And he's screaming in my face.
This is your manager.
This is my manager. This is like week 2, week 3 in pro ball.
So you're saying he's in your corner?
The opposite. This is the same guy that called me into his office to release me too.
And
at the end of it,
let's not forget that you're coming from Bull.
Yeah.
The Lincoln Land coach, who's the ultimate player's coach, and you can talk to like a friend, like a man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I respect Bobby Knight. I'm with that mentality, that hard nose, get your shit right. Like, we're not out here to play games. Like, I was all for it, but somebody in the crowd witnessed this whole thing. Hand wrote a letter to the Marlins
that it was inappropriate.
That it was completely inappropriate. This manager should not be around players. He should be. I can't remember the exact words, but they called me in, and I was like, no, didn't happen.
Yeah, you want to snitch?
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
I thought it was just baseball related, and they're like, well, this has never happened before. We've never had somebody handwrite a letter to our organization to say that what they saw was inappropriate. And again, this might be a little bit of cried wolf out, but this, it happened. It was something that I dealt with. This guy stuck with me. He was a manager of mine multiple times, and
this is your first season in Batavia?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were there for like 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This was all in that time frame, man. It was really weird how it happened. So I get sent down, and like 2 weeks after that, I get this. They call me to the office to show me this letter. It was just like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's very strange.
What is going on? Now I got that spotlight on me. Not only did I cry in this office when they sent me down in front of like all of our minor league guys, I'm doing terrible.
Unwanted attention.
Yeah, this happens now. I mean, like they're probably thinking like, oh, his kid's parents like write us a letter. Like, what a loser, It was just wild, man. It was very weird.
Very strange start to your professional career, man.
Yeah, it really was. But, I get through that. I get down to rookie ball and kind of developed like a good core group of buddies down there. Because, dude, when you're down there, you're in the trenches. Like, that is baseball hell on earth. I am not going to lie. Like, baseball is awesome and all, and it was cool to do it. Talk to anybody that has ever spent a week in rookie ball in the Gulf Coast or the Arizona League.
Yeah.
I think it's called the Arizona League. But and they will tell you, I promise you they'll say the same thing. It is the least desired spot to be at.
Yeah.
And you're the lowest on the totem pole, and they make you feel like it. Like you really are the dirt beneath their cleats. Like, I mean, we had the same lunch every day. It was a sub sandwich every day. The Cardinals we shared a complex with the Cardinals. The Cardinals are getting catered lunches, catered breakfasts.
So the Marlins specifically as an organization aren't like treating you guys amazing.
I mean, I didn't play for other organizations. I knew other guys that did, and they said this was terrible.
Yeah, you saw what you saw.
Just less than ideal, man. I mean, we would get these $7 meal vouchers as part of our payment because you don't get paid. You're rookie ball. You get your housing paid for, and you get like
I didn't realize that
food stipends.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it was – or no, I'm sorry. You get paid in rookie ball. It's extended spring training that you don't get paid in. So that's – we'll get to that next year for the following season.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get through it, man. I just wanted to get the first one over with.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if I was going to get brought back after the first year. Mm-hmm. Like, when I got back home – I mean, you and I think, started working together straight out of the gate after my first season. I come into
the story at this point, actually, a little bit.
And I'm sure you can attest. I mean, my swing was bad. I had no idea what I was trying to do.
Yeah, so for those guys that don't know or didn't listen in part 1, well, I guess I don't know why you'd listen to part 2 if you listen to 1, but Aper and I ended up training Aper as a strength coach, but then I was also playing indie ball, so we would go hit together. And we taped a lot of our sessions and, just watching our swings, and we were trying to figure some things out. And, I'm not trying to be critical on you, but I definitely – and we've even looked back at those swings now.
It's hard to watch.
Present day. And it looks like a guy that is trying to do some things that aren't natural to him and listening to advice from a lot of people. And it looked like you had kind of lost your swing a little bit.
I had totally lost my swing. I had lost my identity as a baseball player.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was just totally stripped from me. I would never have considered myself a power guy.
Okay.
I would always consider myself a gap-to-gap, a lot of doubles, a lot of triples.
Yeah.
And what the Marlins wanted me to do was hit the ball on the ground. I mean, they wanted me to bunt more. They wanted me to hit line drives. Like, I remember My first year, that draft year, I would get kicked out of the cage if I hit a fly ball in BP. So there'd be days where I would get 2-3 swings in BP before a game because I was getting booted for hitting a fly ball.
That is crazy.
And it's not like I wanted to practice, and I know the ideology has changed drastically today.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally black and
Get
white
in the air.
now. Yeah, which, I mean, I think is I support that.
I do too.
But it was, yeah, man, I mean, I didn't want to be the guy, and this was also to my demise. So the guys that are just fully entrenched, bought into themselves, they would have been like, yeah, coach, understood. And then they would have went back about their business and did what got them there.
Yeah.
Had I been smart, I would have continued to do what got me there. I would have continued to hit the way that I knew how to hit. I wouldn't have been taking advice from the janitor on the facility. But they really wanted me to be a speed guy. They wanted me to be a singles, doubles, steal bases, just be on base.
Right.
Just be on base.
Right.
Being on base was never a question for me.
Right.
It was what bag am I going to start on? What bag am I going to start from? You know, is it going to be second or third? Because that was, you know, just how the game was for me up to that point. So they really wanted me to get on top of the ball. And when they drafted me, Jim Callis, the draft guru, had the little blip about this guy. You know, he's whatever, talented, 5'2", what they say about anybody. But he's like, Aper has been known to have a little bit of an uphill swing. And now I think back, I'm like, dude, that's what good hitting coaches are teaching today.
That's so. Aper and I are very deep into hitting mechanics now, and we talk about them all the time. And
Jim Callis said he's got an uphill swing,
which is what you want now.
And so the Marlins
Working
are telling me to hit the ball on the ground. So like, I'm changed my setup,
changing your swing. Totally.
I've changed my stance. I've changed like everything about my swing.
You want to be coachable.
Exactly. I didn't want to be the guy that was sucking.
And
not listening to anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Looking back, I would have much rather died on that hill.
Yeah.
I would have much rather died on my own hill because I have my best interests. These guys are just cookie cutter. I mean, they're trying to oversee kids that they can't even have conversations with because of a language barrier. They're trying to decipher who's going to be the star out of this group of 100 and some odd minor league players. Like, and some guys have already acclaimed that status. Some are stars. Some are uprising stars, you know? And, I mean, when you just go from that totally, you know, top of the hill to the bottom looking straight up, like, I just wanted to get back on track. And I'm like, surely these guys know what they're talking about. Right. Surely, you know, if they want me to be if they want me to be a ground ball guy, they must want me to be that for good reason.
Yeah.
You know, they know more about this than I do because they are getting paid to be in the front office or on the coaching staff of a major league team.
Yeah.
Not always true.
Yeah.
You are always going to be your best coach.
Yeah.
Your best critic, your best motivator, your biggest, you know, all of those things. It's always going to be you, you know. And I didn't. It's not that I ever was like I didn't understand that. I just didn't buy into me. I wanted help so bad because I'd never been bad before. Yeah. Somebody save me, you know. Somebody throw me the buoy. Somebody. I'm out here just treading water, trying to keep my head afloat.
And there are tons of stories of guys in the minor leagues that get with the right coach and make a change. And that's their rocket to the big leagues.
Absolutely.
But it's also littered with guys that listen to too much advice and completely ruined their swings. Yeah. And their careers went in the dumpsters after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do?
Well, I continue to buy in.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, I continued to buy in up until the last year where I had a coach say, finally, I had a good guy, and I'm not going to skip too far ahead, but I finally did get to a point where I had somebody that was – that I felt like saw something in me finally, and it was unfortunately it was my last year. Yeah. Gary Cathcart was his name, and he's like, dude, he came into the Marlins organization my last year, and I'm you know, getting shipped back and forth, whatever. He's like, I looked at your college stats. He's like, what have you done differently? What happened?
Yeah.
This is the first time I'd ever had a coach pull me aside one-on-one.
Say, what the hell?
What happened here?
What's going on, bud?
You know? Yeah, and at that point, I couldn't even explain to him what happened. I was just like,
twisted up.
Coach, I'm just trying to be good. Like, I just want to be what I know I can be. And he's like, well, do what got you here.
Yeah.
Dude, if I had Gary Cathcart week 1, day 1, month 1, year 2.
Different story.
Totally different career, man.
Yeah.
Totally. It maybe.
Yeah.
You know, who's to say? But
at the very least, you would have gone out your way. Mm-hmm. You know, doing things. You know.
And I don't have regrets. You know, I don't regret.
Yeah.
I'm kind of talking out the side of my mouth. I don't regret buying in. I just regret fully buying in.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like in one ear out the other type thing. Filter, keep with you what you will. Uh-huh. I kept it all from everybody all the time. You know, so that was one thing that I wish I would have done differently. That's, it's not a regret. It's just hindsight 2020, something I wish I would have done a little bit differently.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna revisit that a little bit later, just like as a kind of a question. So because that's a very interesting topic, and we talked about we could talk about that, the hitting stuff and changes. We said we could make that a whole podcast.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We might have to at some point. So we're getting to the off season now. This is when we get together. You start doing your strength and conditioning stuff. You really get into the weights. You're hitting. The Marlins are wanting you to gain some weight. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of like a new. I mean, I didn't know how much weight training were you doing at Lincoln Land prior to this.
We're getting after it.
Some. Okay.
Yeah, we had Justin Knabler.
That's right.
Yeah, he was huge. I mean, in that regard, he kind of manned that.
Yeah.
Portion of Lincoln Land. He was the strength and conditioning guy.
Yeah.
We did a lot of pro style workouts. There was no heavy bench, heavy squat. I mean.
Right.
It was still squatting and doing, baseball specific stuff.
Yeah,
Justin was very good. He put together a very professional workout program.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely did. But yeah, I mean, my main focus in that off season was just get big.
Yeah, we were trying to put weight on you.
Trying to put some weight on. I was eating crazy amounts of calories. I was taking all these protein drinks and drinking smoothies. And
I remember you had a hard time putting down food. You don't have a huge appetite. Is that right?
It was I forced myself, man. I would eat until I was sick, and I just got to the point, where I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right, it sucks.
And what ended up really happening was I lost speed because of that. I didn't put enough focus on speed training. I was just trying to. They wanted me to come back at 200 pounds. Yeah. Like every year it was like get to 200 pounds.
Right. I'm just gonna put on 40 pounds in the offseason.
It was just a fight to get there, and I
right.
will never forget when I finally did. It was in like my third offseason. I was like, thank you God. And then I took a pee and weighed back down to like 190 and never got to 200 again. But yeah, so main focus was just figure out who I am.
Yeah.
What do I got to do to get back?
Do you feel like you were healing? I mean, like what were you doing mentally to get? Were you doing anything mentally to try to get back, or was there any kind of healing in this off season of like, all right, I can reset. I'm gonna, this is a fresh slate going back into spring training. And now it's gonna be on, or where were you at?
That was the mindset for sure.
Yeah.
I was back home in Lincoln, so comfort level was there. I was, which maybe I should have been somewhere else. Maybe I should have been training with other guys, other places. I don't know, whatever. But I was back in Lincoln. I was just trying to get my mind right, just trying to get back into a normal routine. I was so far out of my comfort zone. So much had happened in so little time. All these twists and turns and airplane rides and bus trips and shitty meals. Like, just so much had happened in such a short amount of time that I was just trying to get back to a norm, and I felt like that would be good for me to kind of get centered again. I mean, obviously, the thought was there, was I like meditating or doing like mental training, specific training? No, I wasn't. Should I have been? Yeah. I mean, absolutely, probably. But it was more, just get in the weight room and figure out my swing.
Sure, yeah.
They brought me down to like a hitting camp, where like a select few of that draft class got to go down that off season. Mm-hmm. Spent a week there, week or 2 weeks down there.
Was it helpful for you? Or were they still pushing you
I
to
mean,
hit
they
the ball on the
had
ground,
our AA manager at the time, Andy Barquette, who may still be in the big leagues as a hitting coach, I know he was there with the Red Sox when like JD Martinez was there.
Okay.
This guy was an absolute monster, dude. He was one of the best baseball minds that I'd ever come across.
Cool.
Had so much helpful insight. Had managed the only Marlins like winning level. It was when they had Yelich, Real Muto, Jose Fernandez in AA that year. They won a championship. Like, he was like the dude in the organization.
Okay.
So I got, it was an awesome opportunity to get like some one-on-one. And I mean, I had good takeaways from it. I remember just thinking to myself, like, I felt like I was actually in their plans.
Yeah.
Because they brought me down there.
Right.
But man, I was humbled real quickly next year when I got brought back, for spring training. Like, I was nobody. Like, I thought that I was a guy, or at least somebody that they felt was like worth putting time and effort into. And then I got back to spring training the next year, and like they had me in like the short season, the rookie ball group again. Like, I'm in the lower 2 tiers. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't expecting to like go to high A my second year, especially after what I did. But I thought, my group from the short season team kind of moved up into low A, into Greensboro.
Yeah.
I thought I had a very realistic chance to be at least through spring training with the low A, high A group, because they'll split it: rookie ball, short season group, low A, high A, double A, triple A, big leagues.
And they kept you on the lower.
And I was in the low, like with the whole time.
So you feeling like you had fallen out of favor quickly?
Very quickly, yeah. And again, I left that little strength camp or hitters camp or whatever it was. I left that thinking like, okay, I might have a good chance to get some run this year.
Sure. And for those of you that don't know, like, the higher you're picked and the more money, the higher you're picked in the draft and the more money you get, typically the more investment a team is going to give you, the more leash, the more time they're going to give you to scuffle or figure things out. More playing time, more preference, just more attention to you. Would you say that's accurate?
Oh,
as
absolutely.
opposed to someone signed free agent or 40th round, and they give you no
100%.
money. Like
the leeway part's the biggest thing. Just the simple run him out there every day.
Yeah.
Let him
figure it out.
Let him get his 500-600 at bats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I, where I was drafted, I thought I would be afforded that opportunity, but I was not at any point. I don't know that I had 600 at bats my entire minor league career.
The story of your career says no, that they did not. Under that. 500, 565.
I didn't even have 600 at bats my whole career.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, guys were getting that on my team that were hitting 200, that were 26-round picks.
Yeah. So
they were getting their 550, 600 at bats in a season.
Yeah.
I didn't even get that in 3.5 years.
So now we're at your first. This is your first spring training, right?
Yep.
How was that experience for you? I mean,
really cool, man.
Exciting. First time doing that.
Oh, it was so cool. Spring training was awesome.
Yeah.
Spring training was so cool
Tell
because you're rubbing shoulders. I mean, that's your opportunity to be on the field with guys that are in the big leagues, have been in the big leagues.
Yeah.
You're rubbing shoulders at that point.
Operate.
Big league pitchers are coming back to backfields to get their innings in for the day.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with the AA, AAA group. Like, I would go play a lot of games with the AA, AAA group every year.
Mm-hmm.
And what I came to find out was that's kind of what filler guys do. They just go fill a spot, But dude, every spring training, like, I did well.
Really?
I did really well, every spring training. And I was never a guy that, like, started off the year well.
Okay.
But spring training, I did really well. I think my first year, it was always, like, the best that I hit every year was spring training.
Okay.
So now, like, when I watch and I see guys hitting really well, I'm like, man, well, watch, he'll be hitting 100 after the first month. Like, burn all his bullets in spring training. Like, I would take a 1 for 100 in spring training with 90 loud outs over 90 for 100 with little dinkers and Ric Flairs and using all my grenades for the year in the first month. Yeah. But that first one was awesome, man. I mean, it was just one of those things where you dream about that, right? Like,
absolutely.
that's another part of the process of this whole dream that I was in was, spring training, man. It was just incredible. It really was. It was some of the coolest moments of my life for sure were in spring training. And like I said, I had a lot of opportunities that year, to go up and play with the AA, AAA group and playing against several big leaguers, playing with several big leaguers, getting to know guys that were in the big leagues. I mean, it was really cool, man. And I performed pretty well. Every spring training I did pretty well.
Were you trying to hit the ball on the ground like they were wanting?
I'm pretty sure I was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to be that player.
I don't remember what exactly my mentality was, but I was hitting lasers, man. I remember it. Like, I remember each one of my spring trainings very specifically, because I still have, like, vivid memories of the bat model that I was using, like, when I was hitting the ball well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it was. But again, I was in that lower tier, so I kind of knew where they saw me, and I was, I thought spring training was a tryout. It was not. They already knew where you were going to go.
Yeah, had an idea.
Because if it was, I would have been with the team that I thought I should have been on every year. I feel like, but so yeah, man, I did well, and so when you go to short season,
pause 1 second. I want one more spring training question before we go. Could you take us through what is a normal day of spring training, from like get up?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, man, it's just very highly competitive from sun up to sundown. I mean. There's no walk. I mean, you don't want to be the guy that, like, is sticking out,
I mean, it starts early, right? It's like,
oh yeah, you're on the line at 7 a.m. It's the same thing as what you do in rookie ball.
Okay, got it.
Practice in the morning, games in the afternoon, go home day after day after day after day after day.
Yeah.
So for me that was cool because I got to see older guys. Your outfielders, whether it's rookie ball or AAA. Your outfielders go together.
Okay.
Your infielders go
cool.
together. Yeah. So this one guy in particular, Isaac Galloway, was a vet, man. Vet. like played a lot of years in the minor leagues,
Mm-hmm.
got a little bit of showtime. Just an amazing guy, was an incredible defender, and really, really transformed me. My footwork, my reads, my, everything defensively. Like, I just studied Ike, man. I
cool.
studied the guy.
Yeah.
And he was so nice to me. He was always open to talk and to, have that back and forth.
Love guys like that.
Man, he was awesome, dude. And if I could shake his hand today, I would, and just say thank you. Like, I've never seen him since I stopped playing.
Maybe we'll send this clip to him.
I don't know. That'd be cool, man, because he was a really cool guy. He was great. He was instrumental for me. Honestly, probably most of the time didn't even know how much I was learning from him. But
We
I
are
would just
sending this clip to you, buddy.
I would just watch everything he did.
Okay.
And I had heard that he was a great outfielder. Like, he was a fringe big league guy for a long time, like my whole minor league career. He actually didn't get his call up until after I was done. So he continued playing in AAA, AA.
Wow.
It was just that. I mean, that's what center fielders can do, man. That's why I was so hopeful for my career. If you're a good center fielder and can just
Such a valuable
pull your
position.
weight, hit your weight,
Yeah.
you can make a career out of it,
roster, Yep.
And Ike did that, man, and I just studied him every year. Every spring training, I just studied Ike,
Mhm.
and it transformed me as an outfielder. I mean, I was playing elite level defense by
Shout
that
out
time.
to Ike.
Yeah, big time. Very thankful for him and just being who he was and
Yeah.
being really good and me being in the right place at the right time, really.
I love you giving thanks to all these people, man. It's so cool.
But that's what spring training was all about. It was just seeing where you stack up. Because never is there a time where you get to just see the whole organization.
Yeah.
And when you're right there, you're looking at these guys like, he's in AA. I feel like I'm better than him. He's just older than me.
Yeah.
So you start to get that gauge of what's the rest of the organization looking like?
Yeah.
You also get to see like who are they pulling for,
Yeah.
And
Is it pretty obvious?
probably
Times.
Yeah, I would say it was. I just, like I said, I just felt like after that, that right off the get go in spring training, I was not in the cards. Like I was not in the plans to be an everyday guy.
Okay.
So get through spring training. It's a month long. Then if you are already in the organization, if they're going to send you to short season, you stay in what's called extended spring training. Purgatory. So you're playing against all the other teams in the area, the Cardinals, the Nationals.
Yeah.
I think now the Astros are down there. You're playing against all these guys. You're doing inter-squad games all the time.
Yeah.
You're doing Saturday morning doubleheaders with, whoever. And it's you just wait. You just do this. You stay. You do the spring training ritual. You do the spring training routine up until it's time to break camp after the draft. So that's another month and a half. I mean,
short season starts later, correct?
Yes, short season starts like mid-June. So, you got your draft the first week of June. Spring training is the month of April. You spend all of May into June in extended spring training, just doing spring training for another month and a half.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. I mean, it's really, really tough to go out there in that weather and that climate and do it at a high level every day on that,
Stay in it mentally.
Mentally it's fine because it still is. And that's, for me, it was never a chore. It was never a job.
Mm-hmm.
I still love to go to the park every day. I loved the work that I was putting in. I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the cage. I was obsessed with defensive drills, and I was just obsessed with it all. So it was perfect, but it sucked. I mean, it was very, very.
Yeah.
It was very hard. It was just overall the hardest baseball life that I had ever lived, for sure. And so you're living in a hotel. I mean, I lived in a hotel when I was in rookie ball. So I came back, lived in a hotel from, July to August, go home, come back for spring training. I'm living in a hotel from April to mid-June.
You and a roommate? You by yourself?
Yeah, me and a roommate. Still one of my best friends today, Aaron Blandon. I roomed with him every year. After our draft year, we roomed together. Every team that we played with, every spring training, we roomed together and still talk to him at least 3 times a week now today. So
shout out.
Yeah, that's my dude.
Yeah, buddy.
I was fortunate enough to meet somebody like that, and there were others too that I still to this day I talk to on a weekly basis.
Meet a lot of brothers along the way.
Yeah, man, you really do. Not all of them. there's a lot of people that you don't care to ever speak to again.
I could agree to that too.
But the ones that you do hit it off with, it
life,
does
man.
become for life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got some brothers for life too.
Went through a lot together.
Yeah.
Went through some very trying times.
Seriously.
As people, as human beings, but also as baseball players too.
Yeah.
But that lifestyle, man, is just tough. You know,
is,
it
man.
takes a toll on you. I mean, the hotel
Going through
thing-
struggle with people bonds you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. For sure. Especially just that grind.
Oh yeah.
Sun up to sundown. Got to do it again tomorrow.
Yep.
You never want to see your brothers fall.
Yeah.
So that, you know, at that point, you spend that much time together, you do kind of start to form a little bit of that brotherhood, but it still is just not the same as,
Yeah.
you know, your summer ball days, your college days.
No.
At least not for me, but.
Is this when we break to eventually you get out of short season? Or not short season, extended.
Yeah.
And we break to Batavia again?
Batavia, yeah, back to Batavia again.
So
live-
Slow A, Batavia, and New York
Mhm.
Penn.
Yep, back up there. And
Okay.
I wasn't an everyday guy,
That
but I
is
was
baffling.
primarily I was like the majority center fielder.
Okay.
Played some right field too. Ended up, you know, becoming a very, very good right fielder as
Okay.
well.
So right away, they were not running you out there every day
No,
as a 6th-round pick that
Nope.
they just gave $250,000 to.
nope. They actually, so that year they signed, Vanderbilt won the national championship that year, and the kid that hit the walk-off to win it, John Norwood, they signed him as an unsigned free agent. So an undrafted
Really?
free agent.
Really?
Outfielder,
Yeah.
sent him straight to the Penn League. He lived with me. He's my roommate.
Really?
And this guy came and took my spot, literally.
Man.
Yeah, and they put him in my house.
How
They
are you
put him in
feeling
my-
about this?
I mean,
It's
hey,
so
look,
weird.
John Norwood is a great guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nothing against
It's a
John
weird thing.
Norwood.
Yeah.
But when you look at it from my point of view, they, you know, draft a high school outfielder in like the 15th round. He's playing over me. They've got an undrafted guy that can swing it a little bit. He's playing over me.
Yeah.
They bring in this Norwood kid. He's playing over me. We've got several incredibly talented young Latin Americans that are playing over me, or at least that they're trying to get
Is this
some
that
runs.
same manager that
Yeah, same manager.
was not a fan of you?
Same manager.
Okay. So he's the one obviously making the lineup card, reporting up to the general manager what's
Mhm.
going on, right?
Yeah,
He's got a lot of your fate in his hands.
a lot. Yeah.
So not boding well for you if he's not a fan of you.
And again, I'm not crying wolf. You know,
You're not.
it is what it is.
You're telling the story how it was.
Yeah,
man.
he was. It never felt like he was a fan of me. And again, this is the same guy that released me. This is the same guy that I had to sit down in his office at 7:00 in the morning, and I swear to God, he smiled at me as he released me. So,
Really, like he got some joy in it.
yeah, like I felt like he got some joy. And I think I actually said to him, "I hope that made you happy." When I walked out, I think I said to him, "It's finally over. I hope you're happy." I think was my last words to him.
Oh man.
But yeah, so you know, I it was my best statistical year. I mean, I think I hit around 230 that year.
Mhm.
Struck out a lot. That was a big thing for me. I never was able to get strikeout rate down to, you know,
Yeah.
I never struck out up until pro ball. I was striking
Right.
out a lot. I was
Yeah.
swinging through a lot. So a lot of fastballs that I was just swinging right through.
Are we changing your swing? Are we using the same swing? Are we
I
just
think a lot of it was just fighting my natural bat path. I was trying to correct it. I was trying to get on
Yeah.
top more.
right? But
And
it's
that's
not-
why I was just cutting right underneath balls. Like there
Yeah.
would be fastballs, dude, that I used to crush that I would swing right through and just
Yeah.
I remember vividly walking back to the dugout just thinking to myself, like, how the hell
Yeah.
did I miss that?
You're right.
How did I miss that? I would foul ball straight back.
Yeah.
And it would get to the point where I like forgot what it felt like to square up 95, dude. And then you do it again and you get a little surprised. You're like, oh shit, like
Hey.
I heard that, didn't feel it for once, you know, because everything I'm
Yeah.
hitting is off the end of the bat. I'm getting jammed, whatever, like just not squaring anything up. But that year was statistically, I think, my best year. Like, and that was also the most consistent playing time that I got.
Yeah.
By far the most consistent. But even that year, dude, it was like play a few days, sit a few days.
Hard to get
I
rolling.
could never get into a rhythm.
Hard to get rolling.
I was the
yeah.
king of like 2, 3, 4 game hitting streaks.
Yeah.
And then I would get sat for 6 days and I
Yeah.
wouldn't get a hit, you know?
Is this the type of situation where you can go have a conversation with this manager?
I probably could have.
You skip. Okay.
Just again, man, I didn't want to be the
You don't
feather ruffler.
Right.
I didn't want to be the guy
I
that
feel like you had already ruffled a few feathers.
yeah, I was just so incredibly embarrassed by how I had handled the whole demotion thing my first year.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend at the time had just come up there when I got demoted and I hadn't seen her. You know, for me it was like the whole world was just tumbling down. Like
Yeah.
as soon the day she gets there, I get sent back down.
Yeah.
You know, I just handled it so bad, dude.
It's a lot though.
So after that, you know, I just wanted to be off the radar completely. I didn't
Right.
want to be a reason for conversation or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember, you know, streaks of success. I remember playing very, very good center field that year. I mean, after that, you know, after that first year, defensive abilities were never a question for me. Like I had it down. Like my throws were crisp, defense was solid. You the one thing for me that was really a killer was just not being on base to steal bags. So like when I would get on base, I had no confidence to steal a bag anymore.
You get in a rhythm with that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, before it was like I knew I was stealing second base, and now I'm like I haven't even touched first base in a week. Like I don't want to get picked off. Like
it's like a little dance with the pitcher, and you get their feel.
Yeah, you get the rhythm of the game back. And when you're not 100%. Out there often, dude, you get totally out of touch with that rhythm of the game. You get totally, you just lose that eye for when they're going. Like when your jumps, you're not getting that game read. You get real rusty real quick when it comes to stealing bases. And I just wasn't on enough to ever get comfortable, to ever put a dent in the stolen base category. Like that was one thing for me that was just totally untapped because I was never on base. Yeah, I was never on base.
One of your biggest tools was your speed and your
exactly.
ability.
Could never even use it.
You stole 50-something bags.
Could never use it.
The year before.
It was very frustrating for me.
Yeah.
That's why I was buying into the whole hit the ball on the ground thing. It was like, well, at least they can see me run the 3.9 down the line, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was stressful, man.
So are you still having a belief in yourself that you're a change away or a season away or things could still break for the good here? Is this starting to slip away from you, or how are you feeling in these moments?
Man, that's a good question, dude. It was something that weighed on me very heavily. Like, again, back to the self-induced, like I have to prove it thing. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure that it wasn't a fluke. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I just was doing anything I could to just get back to that normal feeling of just playing ball.
Yeah.
Searching. Whatever I could. Yeah, just searching, man. Searching. Just trying to figure it out. Trying to pull confidence out of every crack and crevice of my body.
Yeah.
Just trying to get hyped up for the game when you're 0 for your last 30. It's like
tough, man.
I don't even want to be at the park today, let alone be in the lineup.
So baseball, I would say, or is it safe to say it's not as fun for you at this point?
Not at this point. It was trending in that direction for sure. I would say the next year was where it really, really, really got tough for me. That next year got really, really dark, really tough for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would have spurts. I had enough spurts of success to where I still felt good about my odds.
Yeah.
And I still believed in myself as an outfielder to where I was like, man, I'm this.
I need a break.
I'm a 250, 260 average away from being a guy.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Because then at that point I'm on base enough. I can run. If I can just get there.
Yeah.
Starting to put together good at bats. I was really starting to compete a little bit. It was never enough consistent PT to play.
Not in the lineup enough to push the needle in that direction.
Yep. I couldn't fully just get comfortable.
Can you just feel this manager not liking you? That kind of energy, that vibe. You can totally tell. I think, at least from my experience, when a manager likes you, believes
me off,
in you.
Dude.
Yeah, how he looks at you, how he talks to you. Those kind of things. I think it's pretty easy to read.
And I just saw that little guy looking up at me, grabbing my hat, grabbing my jersey, all the time, dude.
Yeah.
Anytime I looked at him, he just reminded me of a little chihuahua. I just wanted to flick the little chihuahua right in his forehead. Just like, get away from me, dude. I just couldn't get away from him. And again, dude, I'm not crying wolf. I'm not saying that this guy was the detriment of my career. I was not mentally stable enough to sift through the weeds to get out to the other side. I was not there. I was not mentally strong enough. I did not have a firm enough belief in my ability to get me through to the other side, truthfully. I have no problem admitting that. And I share that because I hope if there is a kid out there that, don't be a prick, but believe in yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Don't set yourself up to look back and be like, man, I listened to everybody and that was why I didn't. Like, I can die on my hill. I can die on my belief in myself. I didn't have that. So, but yeah, I could always feel that. Like, that guy was just absolutely not pulling for me.
It's tough. Tough to succeed in an environment like that.
It is what it is, dude. I was one of many. There's no way that I was the only guy that felt like that.
Sure.
There's, he could have had the utmost belief in me, for all I know. Yeah. He could have, been just as crushed by releasing me as I was crushed by getting released. I don't know. I never had that conversation with the guy.
Yeah.
But, same manager. And again, he's just a placeholder, Yes, he's filling out the lineup card, but he's getting texts and emails, I'm sure.
This guy in the lineup.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. And it is what it is, man. It's a business. These are billion-dollar teams.
Okay.
That have invested in drafted kids to put a product on the field for fan, approval, fan enjoyment, and it's very much so business. And I was never fooled. I knew it wasn't. I'm not the only guy out here. Like, it's not just about me.
Yeah.
This is a large scale deal here. This is a professional Major League Baseball organization.
Yeah.
You know, be it as it may.
Yeah.
Still an opportunity. I still had a jersey.
It's not all hugs and rainbows.
No, not at all. It's the opposite,
not.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the opposite. It is
Yeah.
what it is. So is life.
Yeah,
you know.
but that's a tough pill though, because it's something that you wanted to do your whole life, and you get there, and it's not really what you expected it to be or how you expected it to go. So
but it was still incredible, dude.
absolutely,
It was still incredible.
it's not all doom and gloom.
No,
Absolutely.
it is not all doom and gloom
Yeah.
at all, by any means.
Not at all.
But when you get into the specifics of things,
Yeah.
there's a lot of struggle there, man.
You went
but
through
that's
it,
the
man. You really went through it.
That's the post game spread podcast. So it's
Yeah.
like that is what this is about.
Yes, dude. Thank
There's
you.
To Bensko, I mean, the guy had an incredible career, and I loved listening to the podcast. I love listening to all of his successes.
Thank you.
I loved it. That is what this is also about. We want to celebrate that stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Just from my story, like my success just didn't continue, and
Yeah.
obviously not everybody's did, because we all had to stop at some point.
Yeah.
That was, I was just trending in the direction of my stop was coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like I still thought I was going to be a major league center fielder.
Still
Like,
believe. Yeah.
it was never like I was just totally full of the cards and was like, nope, I'm
It's a
just
wrap.
simply not good enough.
It's
I
a
wasn't
wrap.
ever going to go away without a fight.
Yeah. You fought.
Um,
you did fight, buddy.
it was just, it was weird. It was very weird. It was odd, I would say.
Odd season. So, are you cool wrapping this season up and moving forward here?
Yeah.
Is there anything
Yeah.
more you think needs to be said about season 2?
No, I mean, had some successes.
Yeah.
It just was inconsistent playing time, and yeah.
All right. So, season 2 is over. We did a little bit better, but probably not as good statistically as you would like.
No,
correct?
Near it.
Yeah. So we come back off season, more hitting, more weightlifting, trying to get your weight up, similar type stuff. Is there anything you want to comment on the off season, or are you ready to get to spring training again?
No, I think this off season was I had a much more clear idea of what I was trying to do.
Cool. Let's go there.
I definitely knew that the ground ball thing wasn't gonna cut it. It wasn't for me.
This ain't working.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. So I was just trying to get back to a situation or a position of, really being able to drive the ball. I felt like the whole just making contact part of it was done and out of the way.
Yeah.
I had already gotten that, part of it. I was used to the pitching at this point.
Yeah.
Really, it was just trying to clean up any holes, that video showed me, and with the best of our knowledge, trying to put our two brains together at the time. We were just trying to get each other better, and
figure it out.
Yeah, we didn't do it. I feel like we went about it the right way. We had a plan.
It really is crazy how much more swing knowledge there is than there used to be.
Yeah.
Back in 2013.
Just the idea that there's more out there than just the right way or the wrong way to swing.
Yeah, everyone's got unique
everybody
movements.
moves different. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was
absolutely.
a very unique mover. I moved very oddly. I would say if you watched my swing when I was doing really well,
Mhm.
it did not look like what you would think a good swing would look like.
Okay.
My setup was kind of weird. I was kind of pigeon-toed, pointing my hip. It was just I had reasons why I did that.
Yeah.
In trying to find myself, this was years of just figuring out myself. Before I got to pro ball, it was like really just me and my dad.
Mhm.
Just trying to figure it out. In high school especially, I was just going strictly off feel.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to some professional hitting coach.
Right.
I was just going off feel and watching the fly of the ball and results. And I was a better hitter when I was dumber. I will say that.
Yeah.
When I thought I was smart, when I thought I knew more, that's when I
Really?
started to fail. Yeah.
Like I got too complicated.
I definitely
In ways,
overcomplicated it.
yeah.
And I
Easy
got
to
away
do.
from just the response of my body.
Yeah.
What my body told me, what the flight of the
Fighting
ball
unnatural
told me.
movements.
Yes,
trying to
man.
force movements that
Yes.
aren't you.
Yeah, I had a goofy swing, and it didn't look like other people's. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm not hitting good, because
Yeah.
I don't look like those guys.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this at this time
So
when player A that's hitting 330 is doing this at that time.
mhm.
I was trying to just make sense of it all, and
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't move like that. I don't look
Yeah.
like that. Maybe that's why I suck.
Oh.
Let me move like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for me. I like I said, there were reasons why I set up the way that I set up when I was having insane success.
So are you going back to this old swing or trying to?
I was
or
getting there.
Some hybrid of
yeah,
it?
I was getting there. I felt like it was an advanced version of where I was when I was doing really well.
Okay.
Again, me trying to do too much. Like I knew too much.
Yeah.
But man, I had good success. Like rolling into spring training, my second spring training,
Uh-huh.
I was on a tear, man. I was
Really?
hitting everything. Yeah, I was hitting everything. So I'm like, for sure, I'm going to Greensboro. I'm breaking, going to low A. It's gonna be great. They keep me in extended. Like I have this incredible spring training, and they keep me in extended again, dude.
Man, yeah.
And it was just like totally deflating, man.
I bet.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm like,
really take the
God,
wind out of your sail.
Because you get to Greensboro, man. This is a stadium. There's 4 major Division
It's
I
like
colleges.
real minor league baseball.
It's a beautiful park.
Yeah.
It's a stadium, dude. The Sally League is great.
Yeah.
It's well traveled. A lot of
Iconic.
you get a lot of fans. I mean, dude, playing up there, we played in front of 15, 20,000 people probably.
It's so fun.
Definitely like 10 to 15 for sure.
Yeah.
So one thing or another happened. I break with the team. We fly up on the Marlins team plane. We scrimmage against the big league team in Greensboro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They come and play in
wow.
Greensboro. They did this little fan tour thing. I get to
That's
be a
been
part
cool.
of that game.
Yeah.
And then they send me down. They send me back to extended. That's what happened. So I broke with the team. I get up there. I'm getting housing situated, figured out. Boom. First plane out. Back to extended. Damn. So I'm back in extended, man. This is where I'm just like, screw it, dude.
Really?
Yeah, screw it. Like
It kind of break you?
It pissed me off,
Yeah.
dude. I was livid. I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
I was better than the guys that they had up there. And it was, again, like undrafted guys, 30th round picks that were going up there over me. And, like, none of it made sense to me. It's not a knock to them. I don't take any of this personal between myself and the player.
Yeah.
Just, with the way it shook out in the organization, there was never like, hey, man, we just want you to get more bats here.
Yeah.
We think this guy needs more bats here. We want to see him in this position. We want to see you in that position. It was just, boom, short season. See you later.
Yeah.
Go keep trying real hard down there, bud.
It's really baffling when I look at your stats throughout your career. It just looks like they never invested in you. Like they never gave you a time to really. I mean, if you were going to totally fall on your face, I wish they would have just given you a full season somewhere to just like fall on your face.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, fail.
Yeah.
Just fail
If you
550
suck.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. Show me you suck.
Yeah. So I mean.
Okay, so we're
I knew I was good enough to be in low A. I mean, that was the team that I was with. Like that year, I was with the low A, high A group.
Right.
Fully expected to go to low A. Did go to low A. I went as a non-rostered player, so I knew that I was a Phantom DL guy.
Yeah.
Not a good place to be, dude.
So
I go up there.
Guys what Phantom DL is?
You're a fake injury. You're on the DL,
So they
the
can
physically
keep you.
unable to perform list,
But
designated.
you're not really hurt.
Yeah, the injured list, and I'm not even hurt. I don't have a number. I don't have a spot on the roster. Yeah. I'm up there for a week after that big league game.
That really does sound like purgatory.
I went up there for a week, dude. I went to Delmarva, Maryland, and we sat through 33-degree games in April or in early May, and got sent back down. Man. Never even got to touch the field. I mean, never even got to play. Yeah. Next thing I know, I'm in extended, and it was. Like, well, what are they going to do? They're going to send me back to short season for a third time, or are they going to release me now?
Yeah.
So
I feeling like you might be released.
Oh,
at this
absolutely,
point?
dude.
Really?
I thought I was going to get canned for sure.
Man,
I mean,
there was a heavy feeling.
I thought I would be a week and extended, and I would get canned.
Man, like your bags were ready to be packed.
Oh yeah, I didn't even unpack.
No
I'm
shit.
dead. I'm dead serious. When I came back from Greensboro, when they sent me down, I just stayed. My clothes just stayed in my suitcase. I'm like, I'm either going back to Greensboro or I'm going home. There is no in between. You don't go to extended and short season 3 times.
Right.
Nobody. I mean, very seldom do you do it twice.
Yeah.
So I already knew like it wasn't looking good for me.
Man.
But I mean, I just knew that there's no shot they're going to send me there for a third time.
It's got to be so hard to stay positive through all this, right? How do you keep that mentality of like where you need to be, and you keep getting kind of kicked down here?
Yeah, I mean, and again, man, it's all humbling.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing.
You've been
was
humbled by
just
life,
humble,
brother, for
yeah.
sure.
But
Which can be a
what are you
beautiful
gonna
thing,
do?
too.
That's why this is my thought. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna waste this? Are you gonna sit here and sulk and be upset, sad, crying to everybody about how you are still a professional baseball player, or you just don't play that much?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna go out and work hard every day, take the opportunity for what it is? And I'm thankful, dude. This is where I have to pause and just say, like, this is where my parents were so big for me. Because nobody, I mean,
they're really there.
You care for yourself, and your parents care for you. Like, nobody else cares for you more than yourself and those people that are that close to you.
Sure.
And, yeah, man, I mean, you really got to find your backbone. You really got to figure out, like, what do I believe in? Do I believe in anything?
Yeah.
Am I just out here floating around, like, just trying to sift through this and make it happen myself? Or is there something that I can cling on to that's going to get me through this, to keep me getting up every day, staying motivated, still realizing that I still have this opportunity in the palm of my hand.
Yeah.
That window's just closing pretty rapidly.
Yeah.
You know, so it was still an opportunity.
Yeah.
I just knew my window was in like fifth gear on its way down, whereas some guys are like, you know, in neutral.
Yeah. And mom and dad were really there for you.
Dude, so big. I mean, so much. You know, and it was just a whole time of just simply that, just the reminders, like just appreciate what's in front of you. Appreciate what you've gone through. Appreciate each day for what it is. You know, just you're doing what you love. I remember it. My mom probably said this to me 10 million times. My dad too, both of them. 10 million times, like, you are doing what you love. And I'm like, my rebuttal was always, yeah, I am, but like they're not letting me. Like I'm here, but I'm not playing.
Yeah, it's not what I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
It's not the dream I signed up for.
Yeah, but you know, it's all part of the experience, and that's you know, that's why we're here talking about it today. So, but I mean, it was trying. It was very trying.
Yeah, gosh.
Absolutely.
Eventually, do you make it out of extended here? What's going on?
So somebody got hurt, man. I went back to extended for like 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. Somebody got hurt. Mm-hmm. I go up to Greensboro. I don't sleep at all. My flight's at 6 a.m. in the morning. They called me at 11:30 the night before. I was actually at a concert, this Tortuga music festival.
Really?
I get a call from my manager, the one that like despises me. He says, "Hey, you're going to Greensboro in the morning. Like the van will be there at 6. Your flight leaves at 7:30." So I get an Uber home immediately. I'm like packing all my stuff, like just like toiletries, stuff like that. I got to go to the clubhouse still and get all my bats, everything put together. I sleep a couple hours. I roll into Greensboro thinking like, you know, they're going to let me get acclimated. I'm starting in center field that day on like 3 hours of sleep. I go like 2 for 4, 3 for 4. I almost hit a ball out dead center.
Really?
My first at bat.
Okay.
I hit a double, like hit like the game-winning RBI in like the late in the 8th inning. I mean, my swing, I was on it, dude. Like my swing at this time and extended was I was ready to go.
Was this when you like put a little leg kick in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're kind of adding some elements back into your old
So the
swing.
only videos, and we've talked about this, the only videos on YouTube of me and pro ball are from this stint. When I go, we go to, we're playing the Brave, Rome, Georgia.
Yeah, there's 2 videos of Aper on YouTube. One's a double, one's a bomb.
Rome, Georgia. So we play West Virginia Power at home. I come in for the last day of the homestand. We go on the road that night. We get into Rome, Georgia. I start every game of the series. I play out my ass, dude. I'm hitting everything. I'm hitting really well and extended.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is it. Like, I'm finally turning and burning here. I feel really good. I'm confident.
It's my moment.
Got my promotion. I'm back with the team I feel like I should be with. Like, I'm in low A finally. I get to play real minor league baseball now.
Yeah.
And I come out hot, dude. My first 3 games was hot. It was good. First 4 games, really, that series in Rome, I played great. Made, like, dude, a couple diving plays. I mean, gave them every reason to start me. And I sat for, like, 7 days straight, dude.
Really?
I come out fire in the first 3-4 games straight, and I sit for a week straight.
Man. Yeah.
I sit for literally, like, 6 or 7 days straight.
At this point? Like,
what is going on?
Yeah.
What is happening?
What do I have
mean,
to do?
I'm playing great defense. Like, I think I threw a couple guys out. Like, dude, I made some game saving. My mom was there in Georgia.
Yeah.
She lived in Murfreesboro, Tennessee at the time. She came down. I hit a home run like the first game there. I mean, I was playing great. And I'm thinking like, this is it. I'm going to be the everyday center fielder.
Yeah.
Right back to the bench, dude.
Sounds like they had their mind.
That was my whole year.
Oh my god.
That was my whole season in Greensboro that year. I would play for a few days, put together good at bats, go 1 for 4. You know, for my 2-3 days that I would play, sit for a week, sit for 5 days, sit for 4 days, sit for 6 days, play 1, sit 5, play 2, sit 4, play 3, sit a week. You know,
it's so hard to get
going. The whole
going.
season. That was the rest of my career right there.
Jeez.
Play a couple, sit more, play 1 or 2. Like, they never wanted me to get hot, and I say that as the boy who cried wolf, whatever. It just that was my thought. They don't want me to. They don't want me now to get.
Seems
hot.
like they kind of had you boxed into where they thought you were going to be, like a filler at this point, maybe.
Yeah.
They didn't probably see you moving up, so just someone to play every once in a while.
Yeah.
Are you telling me? Wait,
that's exactly what it was.
They're seeing you at this point.
I think it was exactly that, and there's still guys that were drafted after me that were not doing better than me that were playing every day. I mean, if you look at the stats from that team that year in Greensboro, nobody There was no 300 hitters. There was no Sally League All-Stars. There was no just clear head and shoulder better. It was just some guys played more than others.
Yeah.
Simply that.
Did you play in any cool stadiums there?
Dude, Greensboro had the best stadium, man. Seriously, Greensboro Stadium was awesome. But, man, I got to think. Like Lakewood, New Jersey was really cool. We went down to Savannah, Georgia, where now the Bananas play. It was the Mets affiliate at the time. That was a really –
This is the Sally League, right?
Yeah. That was the nostalgic place to play. I mean, that
Absolutely.
Savannah, dude, that stadium has been around forever. I mean, it feels like it, too. It's really cool, like – just felt like I was in 1908, playing ball like, back in the old days.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of cool parks in that league, really. I mean, every park was cool. It was now officially minor league baseball. Like you're not playing in
It's not
in the
rookie ball,
Penn
it's
League,
not
dude.
extended,
Penn
it's
League
not
is
short.
weird. Penn League is a very old league. A lot of really old stadiums. Nothing really, state of the art by any means.
Yeah.
So when you get to low A, it's finally your first taste of like a stadium. Stadium lights.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like clubhouse, underground hitting tunnels, like
real professional
felt
baseball, like you thought it was going to be.
Felt like the big leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, after what I had been through with extended and spring training and Gulf Coast League, it felt like the big leagues, truthfully.
Yeah. So some up, some down. You get a little success, but not getting to play a ton.
Right.
Not getting the chance to really get on a roll. Still feeling kind of like the organization is really not seeing you in the future here. Yeah. That's just kind of how the whole year goes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Like I said, it's, play a few, sit more. The whole year.
Yeah. At the end of the year, where's our mentality at?
I mean, at that point, I just kind of accepted like this.
This ain't it. Or
This is how they see me.
Yeah.
They certainly don't see me as an everyday guy. So I guess now it's like, make of it what you can.
Yeah.
Don't give them a reason to send you home early now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it, man. It was like I wasn't going to stop working hard. Right. I mean, at no point did my lack of success come from a place of lack of preparation or
no, not at all.
Like, the lack of determination or whatever. Like, I was always working crazy hard. Like, I always, did what I had to do. I was doing all the right things. I just couldn't put it together, But, after that year ended, I actually was, it was a good year for me, man. Like, I really still felt like I proved enough, and then I got hurt, dude.
You felt like you belonged.
I knew I didn't. I did not belong.
There we go.
There was never a point where I was like, man, I'm just really not good enough to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I proved to myself plenty in that year. I thought maybe the next year I would maybe start off in low A with a really good chance if I did well to move up quick to high A.
Yeah.
But, man, I was on a roll. I was finally starting to hit the ball really well, and we were in Greenville, South Carolina. Playing against a team that featured Rafael Devers, Andrew Benintendi, Yohan Mankata, Lucas Giolito. I mean, all these dudes are all-stars now, like big leaguers. Most incredible minor league team I ever played. I'm rolling, dude. I'm playing really, really well, hitting the ball well. I'm, like, starting this game off. I'm 2 for 2. And Rafael Devers hits a line drive in the left center gap. He's left-handed. I'm running after this ball, and they got a really high fence. They tried to kind of mimic Fenway, not with as tall of a left field wall.
Sure.
But the whole fence in itself was taller. So I'm running this ball down. I think I can get there. And, like, right at the last minute, I realize I can't. So I go to break down, and it was kind of slick. My cleat slipped out from underneath me. My foot landed, like, a little awkward, and I felt and heard a pop. And I thought, like, it was my ACL for sure. I couldn't bend my leg.
Yeah.
And that took me out the rest of the season. I mean, I had found something in my swing where I was training, like, very specifically. I had a very specific professional routine that I put together that was working incredibly well. It was a balance drill. I would set a 2x4 out, and when I was landing a little bit leaned over.
Okay.
So I put this 2x4 down to stay stacked. That was my ideology. Stay stacked. Deliver the hands high, like Justin Knadler used to teach. I was really getting back into that.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was figuring out that my upper half, when I would come down on my stride, was tilting, and I was having to really fight my front side, really open up that front side to release the barrel behind me.
Okay.
And so I was very specific in my training. There was no wasted swings for me.
Yeah.
I was a professional hitter at this point. I was doing
it,
one-handed stuff. I mean, my routine was so specific.
You knew what worked for you.
I was getting a very good grasp on what worked for me. I was truly becoming a professional.
All gold. I hope people are listening right now.
I was, finally for the first time, I wasn't searching for just any drill that felt good.
Yeah.
I had specific things that were challenging to me that got me ready to go play a game.
Got the right feels for you.
Go hit 95, 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, the right feels for me, and it felt incredible, man. I was like very on the up and up. I think I was even starting to get more tick. I was starting to be on the field more because I was doing really well towards the end of that year. And man, like I said, I hurt my knee that game, and I didn't have a tear in my ACL. I had some like a burst sac thing behind my kneecap that the Marlins kind of brushed off and bothered me into the off season. I spent the first 2-3 months of the off season with just crazy ache behind my knee, and finally went down to go see the team doctor and kind of brushed me off again, said it was nothing, and still to this day it bothers me, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, still to this day, like when it gets cold out, I'll still get that pain right behind my kneecap.
Oh, shit.
Same pain. It reminds me of it all the time. But yeah, it sucked, man. I was really hopeful to end on a high note that year. And I still did, you know.
Can you pull some positives out of that going into this offseason?
Sure, dude, I felt great. I mean, really I did. I kind of forgotten how good I felt until we just started talking about
That's
it.
special. Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, it was that last month, man. I was really feeling it. I was really feeling good.
Yeah, so maybe some confidence coming back into you a little bit, and maybe you feel like there's some life in your career. Maybe there's who knows. But
I mean, I still had that idea of like they don't see me as an everyday guy.
Sure.
Maybe I can get back to that. I'm still like 23 at the time,
yeah,
you know.
young.
So I'm not 6 years in and just figuring this out. Like I felt like for me, like I got my first. That would have been like at bat-wise, that was my junior season of college.
Yeah.
My first 2 years of pro ball, how I looked at it, the amount of at-bats that I had would be equivalent to probably what I would have gotten like in a college season if I was an everyday starter.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, okay, now like I'm primed, I'm ready. All of this is second nature now. Nothing's going to surprise me. There's no arms that are, you know, obviously guys were good. Like the pitching was incredible, obviously, but it didn't seem foreign to me. Like I was used to it, you know.
Sure.
I felt like like I belonged
like
for
you
sure.
belonged. Yeah, that's important because it's easy when you're scuffling to feel like you don't belong in a league against your competition. That's so easy to do. So we're going back home that year. You're dealing with this for the off season. You're dealing with your knee. I'm sure you're running through your normal strength stuff and swing stuff. Are you sticking with the same swing that you had kind of been working with?
I had some injuries that year too. I remember having some back problems that I felt like stemmed from my knee.
And you've continued in life to have some back problems.
Not so much. Yeah, actually. Yeah, you're right, man. You're totally right, actually. I had some, and I think it was all correlated to my knee, but I spent the first couple months of that off season really just trying to get right to be able to progress, you know, to be able to get feeling normal. I had some arm problems, like right out of the gate. I would always have this weird thing with my arm where my arm just would take about 3 weeks to a month to just fully like loosen up.
Uh-huh.
And it would just kind of happen on an instant. But that year I remember specifically like it was worse than the previous couple years. But, you know, it was a long, I mean, it was a tough off season for me, really. I wanted to be able to train at a high level and was still trying to do that, still trying to get my swings in. I just wasn't able to do it up until about Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably after Christmas, after the first of the years when I finally was able to start, like, you know, feeling good, you know, body-wise.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I had high hopes going into that last year.
Yeah, this is going to be Ryan's final year in pro ball here.
I had high hopes that I was going to.
I love that you still had some optimism left in you at this point because
again, man, this is
you went through a lot.
To my parents, you know, to their
a testament
credit.
to them. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was you're doing what you said you were going to do since you were a little kid, you know. So don't ever lose sight of that.
Yeah,
like I heard my mom,
it.
You know, those words are embedded in my mind. Like, don't lose sight of what's in front of you, you know. So it was always, you know, I was so easy to be motivated by it. You know, it was never that I was like sitting there like, man, I don't want to do baseball today. Like, I was always so fired up to get better because I still had that belief that I could get there.
Yeah.
So, you know, get to spring training and, you know, just another spring training. I'm doing really well.
Who are you with?
I
you mentioned the groups previously.
High A, low A group again.
Okay.
I expected.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I had a good chance to make the high A team. So they actually, you know, I do well. I get to play in some big league spring training games my last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, we can pause. Yeah.
I think I swallowed. So I had gotten to play in a couple big league spring training games that year. So that was, you know, obviously a pretty cool experience. So my first one was actually the previous year, I got to travel. I forgot to mention this. I got to travel with the big league team to play the Tigers when they had Miguel Cabrera still, and Jim Leland was still the manager.
Oh my
Actually,
gosh,
it was that or his first year out, but Yoenis Cespedes was still on the team also.
Wow.
So I ride the big league bus over to the stadium. I get there, and I remember one of my roommate, one of my best friends, got to go with me. So that was even cooler. But the thing was, when you go to big league spring training games, they release you right after.
Really?
So him and I both, they kind of get like your last hurrah, and then they send you on your way. So him and I are freaking out. We're freaking out the whole time. This is my not my last one, but the year prior. We're freaking out, thinking we're getting released, whatever. So we're just kind of there taking it all.
Oh, like for real released?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
Like
okay,
you go to
gotcha,
the big
yeah.
league game, and like a couple days
Oh
later,
yeah,
they
that's like
cut
they're sending you off with
they
a gift.
cut you, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kind of freaking out, but we're taking it all in. Just trying to be like.
How do you enjoy that moment while still being like, I might get cut?
Well, I mean, it makes you enjoy it more because I'm like walking
You're in
around
the
the
moment,
stadium,
baby.
and I'm like, this could be it, Actually,
Yeah.
it wasn't the Tigers, man. It was the Braves. And the reason why this was so cool for me, the first one, was because at Lincoln Land, we go down and play at the Worldwide of Disney or whatever.
Yeah, kiss me.
Yeah, in the ESPN studio place
Yep.
or whatever. And you would play on the backfield.
Yeah.
And I remember every year we would go down there, we'd walk through, and there would be a big league spring training game going on in the stadium. And we go out back and we play our game.
Yeah.
And, my first one ever, full circle moment here, I get to walk into the stadium this time.
Wow.
My second one was the Tigers. That was cool because it was full circle. Playing against the Braves at that stadium. I'd been there. I'd seen it. I dreamt about it before and got to go do it. I didn't get to play in that game. But we go to play Detroit. And Jim Leland and Cespedes, I'll never forget this, man. We come out of the locker room after we, just get there, get our stuff, walk out, just going to go kind of take it all in. And Leland and Cespedes are just sitting there ripping a heater together.
Burning heaters.
Just smoking a cigarette together. And I watched Cespedes, man. I watched this guy disintegrate a cigarette, like
Really?
within minutes, bro. It was like full cigarette, half cigarette,
Dude.
no cigarette.
One of those last dudes in baseball to be smoking.
Yeah,
Those
man.
Cuban guys smoke heaters.
Yeah, well, he was ripping it for sure. And I just remember like, dude, this is nuts. That's Jim Leland and Cespedes smoking a square together. Who would have thought?
That's terrific, man.
Yeah, it was. But so, my last spring training, I got to play in one big league game that year as well. And this was honestly this was one of the cooler moments for me in my career for sure. Obviously I didn't go to these games to start. I don't play 9 innings. I got one at bat. In the game, my second one, against the Tigers, I got an at bat that day, and then my mom was actually at the last one that I played in my last spring training. She was there that week, just so happened and got to come watch me play in the big league spring training game.
That's special.
Even better, man, I got to replace Ichiro in the game.
What?
Yeah, so I entered as a substitute for Ichiro.
Oh my gosh.
And so that whole game, Jose, it's a home game. So, if it's a road game, you're lucky to get 3 or 4 of the starters.
Mhm.
You're getting
Right.
a lot of bench guys,
Right.
a lot of minor league guys. Those home games, though, those guys stick around. They come watch the game. They sit in the dugout. And I had met Jose Fernandez, rest in peace. But I had met Jose Fernandez a few times in the years prior in spring trainings. So when I got, to go to the game that day, Jose was in the dugout, and he, we talked for a while. Like I just sat with him, and
Really?
yeah, we got to chop it up for probably 3 or 4 innings.
Good guy.
He had honestly, like the Kobe Bryant dying was like earth shattering to me.
Mhm.
But the first one was Jose, man.
I bet.
I mean, he told me his story of attempting to defect 3 times,
Wow.
like swimming in a boat or swimming in the ocean, like jumping off a boat, swimming, getting picked up right before he can get on land. One time his boat capsized in the middle of the ocean, and he got saved by like a refugee boat.
Jeez.
I mean,
Yeah.
but he loved cars. He had a Nissan GTR. This was my alarm clock in spring training. Every year he left at the same time. The exhaust tips on his car were as big as a mini basketball. It was incredible. And so I'm asking him about it. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen that car in a while. Like, what happened to the GTR, man? He's like, looks around. And he's like, they caught me speeding in Miami, and I took it to a dealership and left it and like bought a new car. Like I just left it there that night. I won't like give all the details of what he told me, but we sat and just talked about about cars and his mom. Like he was very active on social media, and a lot of it was about his family, about his mom. And my mom was huge for me, man. Just my dad was as well, but like we kind of just had that connection of having awesome moms in our lives, and that was seriously it was a topic of conversation for us.
So cool.
I mean it was so surreal. I mean, and then a year or two later when he passed, it's crazy, man. I don't even know if it was that. It might have been that same year that he did pass, but that game, that day was just very special for me in my career. I grew up idolizing Ichiro. Yeah. Got to meet a superstar in Jose Fernandez and really sit down and talk with him.
You're rubbing elbows with the big league guys, man.
And you get to. I mean, that's the coolest part of those games is you're in there. You're high-fiving these guys after they come back in the dugout. I mean, you really feel like you're a big leaguer for a day. I mean, you get the food, you get the spread, they call it, the post-game spread, if you will.
But that's a good post-game spread.
Dude, that's top
That's not
shelf.
peanut butter and jelly.
No, that's like steaks and potatoes type stuff, man. They eat good up there.
Yeah.
But so I have a really good spring training again, man. And
I gotta pause 1 second. A fun thing, if anyone has about $100, Ryan's spring training jersey is on eBay right now for about.
And it's got to be from that game.
It's got to be.
It has to be from that game.
Well, someone from your family step in and buy this jersey. I'm gonna buy this jersey for you,
I don't know
bud.
if anybody knows about it. They will now.
It is. It's on eBay.
It's so funny, man. It's got to be.
I don't know how I found it. I think I was just Googled your name or something, trying to find stuff.
You sent me that picture the other day. I was like, what? That's so crazy.
Who's the super fan that's gonna buy it?
I don't know.
All right.
I might have to.
Yep. All right. Spring training.
So, I mean, another good spring training for me. I mean, I felt like it was very productive. I felt like I showed really well. I break camp with I can't remember the order. I broke camp with the high A team. Mm-hmm. I broke on the Phantom DL again.
Phantom DL'd you again.
Phantom DL'd me again.
Damn.
I got to figure out a living situation. If I'm going to be on this team, I can't live in the hotel. If I'm on the high A team, which is in Jupiter, the same place our rookie ball and extended spring training complex is at. If I'm on the high A roster, they won't pay for me to live in the hotel.
Okay.
I probably would have been okay because I was on the Phantom, but I was like, dude, I'm on this team. Yeah. This is the guys that I advanced with. I was competing with these guys last year. Mm-hmm. A week later, I'm in extended spring training again.
Third time.
They bring me off the Phantom DL. I play a few games. I knock in a game-winning RBI late on the road. Don't play again for like 5 days. And next thing I know, I'm back in extended.
Jesus. Hey, is this manager that is not your friend?
It's a different guy now.
Is he in any way involved? Okay.
Short season. He's still a short season guy. So he's the one still running extended spring training.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So you can never get away from him.
Never could, man.
All right.
So, I mean, at this point, dude, well, I guess I should probably – a major life-altering event occurred for me in my last spring training. Mm-hmm. I found out that we were pregnant with my firstborn daughter. Mm-hmm. So things became – this is where the real world came into play very quickly.
Absolutely. Getting pulled in other
I don't feel ashamed to say that it wasn't planned by any means. I don't feel ashamed to say that. It's the greatest blessing of my life.
Of course.
I have 2 amazing kids now. But I was just at that point where I knew where I stood in the organization.
Yeah.
I had seen 26 to 32-year-old men with wives and kids at home that they got to see for 5 months out of the year. Maybe could come out for the weekend. They surely couldn't, live with you because you're living with 5 other people in Jupiter County, which is the richest county per capita in the United States at the time.
Really?
I mean, I'm trying to live off $1,100 a month in an apartment where I'm paying $400 a month. In Jupiter County, it was what it was. We had to live somewhere. I had 5 guys living in a 2-bedroom apartment,
crammed in there,
and we're all paying $450 a month to live there on $1,100 salary a month.
Yeah, damn near half your salary there.
Yeah, just to live. And I'm not even getting paid. You don't get paid and extended. So I'm spending my signing bonus just to live, just to have a place to sleep.
Yeah, just to keep
as I'm in this limbo,
Yeah.
you know, and I let it go on. They sent me back up. I played for a little bit. They sent me back.
You went up again and then
yeah,
back
I
again?
played it for about a week, and just around this time, during this time was when Gary Cathcart pulled me aside and said, "What happened?
Yeah.
How did you go from this to this?
Yeah.
How are you this good, hitting all these home runs, doubles, triples,
Yeah.
everything, to like not even sniffing that same type of player?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dude, you got to pull for yourself. You got to – it's not been working." He's like, "Your window is getting small. I'm going to be the first to tell you. Like,
Yeah.
I've had to fight for you in that room many times already through the spring training. They wanted to let you go. You kept performing at a high level. So the success that I was having kept me alive. It didn't it didn't progress me at all. It just kept the name on my jersey."
Yeah, the name on your jersey.
He said, literally, "I had to fight for you
Yeah.
every week when it came cut time. I had to fight for you every week."
It's powerful.
He's like, he's like, "I've seen you play defense. That's all I need to see is you play defense."
Right. Elite.
And then I look at you as what you did in college, and I almost fell over out of my chair. I'll never forget this conversation. He called me. He didn't even talk to me at the complex. He called me. And it was like, I almost fell out of my chair when I saw your numbers. He was like, "To see what you are right now," he's like, "it makes me sick." He's like, "I don't know what's happened."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "But you need to forget it all. And you need to do what got you here." So I stood right back up in my stance. I started leg kicking again. I was just trying to drive the ball, and I was, dude. I was smoking the ball.
Really?
I was hitting the shit out of the ball.
What?
So they send me back up.
Yeah.
Play the first day, get a couple knocks, boom, bench.
Man.
6-7 days, bench. They send me down again. So I got sent down twice.
Yeah.
I broke Phantom, got activated, played for about a week, got maybe 2-3 games under my belt. And this, if somebody wants to deep dive and look at like game by game, I may be off here a little bit on the actual time frame of how much I played. I'm just going off what I remember. It wasn't much.
It's okay, buddy.
Extended, Phantom, played a little bit, had a little bit of success, put together really good at bats, straight back to the bench. I'm like, okay. You know, knowing that I've got a baby on the way, I kind of trusted somebody that had been a coach of mine. He was an outfield roving coordinator. He would go to all the places and work with the outfielders. He's a really good guy, man. I really trusted him.
Yeah.
And he did me the biggest favor that I could have ever unknowingly asked for. He came in, he was like, "Look, man," he's like, I'm sorry this has happened to you." They didn't know that I was like, that we had a kid on the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't like I was running around like, telling everybody, because I was like, well, they'll probably release me for that. And at that point, I was still trying to figure out, like, can I do this?
Yeah.
It's the moment that I found out, the moment that we found out, I remember saying to my buddy, I was like, dude, like, everything has changed. My life has changed, like, completely. Like, if there's no clear pathway for me to do this, like, I got to get out. I can't be that guy that's got a kid at home, wife at home, never seen him, can't afford to bring him out on the road.
Yeah.
She's in nursing school, so like, it was just, there was too much going on. I just wanted to do the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be a guy that didn't get to see his kids, didn't get to, go through all that.
Sure.
So I'm having this conversation after they send me down the second time, and I'm like, look, man, I got a kid on the way. So if there's no like real opportunity for me to be on this team, this high A roster, it's like, I got to go. I can't sit here and just tread water in Jupiter, Florida, making peanuts.
What a heavy decision. On
this, this whim that maybe if 10 guys ahead of me get hurt and I get a real opportunity for once.
Yeah.
I can't bank on that.
Yeah.
The very next day, dude. The very next day, got called in the office at 7 o'clock in the morning. Don't have room for you.
Damn.
And he's like smirking at me as he said that, like, you asked for this, dude.
Yeah.
Don't have room, you got to go. Like, same guy that was my manager.
Right.
And that emotionally I said to him, I believe, hope this made you feel good. Like, you finally got to do what you wanted to do type of thing, which was really salty and arrogant of me to say that.
It's okay.
But
that's such a heavy moment.
Yeah, it was, man. And again, I felt really burned by the guy because I knew the words that he used to me, what he said to me and when he released me, I knew it came from that conversation. And the fact that
he
it
was
was the
mocking
very
you in
next
some way?
day, for sure. The fact that it was literally not even 24 hours later, I was like, I see what happened there.
Yeah.
I get it. And I was so, just rubbed the wrong way. I was like, man, I trusted him, you know?
Yeah.
But again, he did the biggest favor for me that I unknowingly asked for. Like, he got me out of there.
Yeah.
I didn't hate baseball.
Yeah.
You know, towards the end of my
You think it was headed in that direction?
yeah, I was just going to backpedal a little bit, actually. So the end of my year in Greensboro, you know, as I'm playing a few, sitting a bunch, I'm like almost like dreading being in the lineup.
Yeah.
Like, I almost get to the point where, like, dude, I don't even want to play today. I haven't seen pitching in 5 days. We got their Michael Kopech,
Yeah.
you know, was the ace of the, you know, on the
Yeah.
staff of the White Sox. Like, dude, I don't want any part of this guy. My batting average is going to go down even more.
Yeah.
Like,
And
give me the fourth game on a 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon game when they're just throwing the long relief lefty, you know,
Yeah.
out of the pen that day.
But if
and,
that's your mentality, it's probably time to go.
Yeah, man. And I fought that. I fought it every day of that season. I really did. Once I realized that I wasn't going to play every day in Greensboro, that was truly, it would be, you know, day 1, damn, I'm not playing. Day 2, damn, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Day 3, damn, I'm not playing. Day 4, shit, I hope I don't play today.
Yeah.
Day 5, shit, I hope I don't play today.
Mhm.
Day 6, damn, I'm playing today.
Right.
You know? And I tried to combat that. I tried to do things to keep me sharp. I would stand in on every pitcher's bullpen.
Yeah.
Pre-game, you know, all the relievers, they throw their pins. Starters, you know, on like day 3 or 4, their off days, they would throw pins. I was just standing in, just tracking, you know, just trying to train my eyes, trying to count the seams as they come by me.
Doing
Just
the
trying
right things, for sure.
Trying to stay sharp for when I do get that next chance a week from now. But I really, really fought that feeling all year. And it's not something I ever verbalized to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, of course not, right? You're not going to tell somebody like, dude, I don't want to play. Like,
Right.
I'm scared to play today
No.
because my batting average is going to go down. Like, I'm not going to get a hit. I haven't seen pitching in 10 days, whatever.
I've been there too.
Yeah, and you know, and then I started to have some success. I started to get away from that. I started to play a little bit more that year in Greensboro, and you know, kind of had rewired my thought process. Kind of convinced myself, like, dude, you got this. You can still do this. Don't get discouraged. Don't be scared. Like, step up and own it. Like, make the most of the opportunity. Like the Rudy mentality. You know, you get your shot, run with it, type of thing.
Oh man, that's good.
And then, yeah, man, just to you know, to have that news, you know, to find out that we were pregnant. You know, I knew very quickly. It was like, you know, what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah.
You know, are you gonna be that guy that's like you had your years to be selfish. You never had to get a job.
Right.
You never had to focus about anything other
Chase your
than
dream. Yeah.
chase your dream. You got to chase it. You're
Didn't
not
work
having that
out.
much fun with it. Why
Yeah.
hang around until you A, hate the game, B, hate yourself,
Yeah.
C, regret time that you missed other places. Like, I just wanted to do the right thing from the start.
Yeah.
You know, with the pregnancy, I just wanted to do the right thing. I wanted
totally
to be
get where your
there.
headset was at. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to be there. You never know if you're going to get to experience that again.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
luckily for me, I was able to experience it twice with a you know, healthy baby, healthy delivery. So, but at the time, you know, I think I'm 24 at the time. You know, I wasn't going to let myself be that 28, 30-year-old with kids
that.
at home.
Yeah.
You know, and it was not a tough decision for me to make. I knew I owned what I said when I said it. It wasn't like I misspoke when I told him,
Yeah. Okay.
if there's no shot here, I
Yeah.
need to go. I
Yeah.
didn't misspeak. Those weren't minced words. It wasn't anything that I regretted saying. I just didn't know it was going to come at 7 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah,
I didn't know. The vision for me was that clear that it was going nowhere quick.
I've been released a few times myself. It is heartbreaking. Are you feeling relief in this moment? Are you feeling sadness?
Well, I was crushed, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everybody always says, like, there's going to come a day where the jersey's going to either be you're going to give it back or they're going to take it from you.
Yep.
I always envisioned my career being the one where I would be like, no, I'm good. I'm stepping away. And I did do that. But still, nothing can you know, brace you for that moment where they tell you finally, like, you're just not good enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
You
Hurtful.
Finally are told out loud you're just not good enough.
Man,
you know, so
that is hurtful. Yeah, I've been there.
I was crushed, you know. I had my car down in Florida with me. I remember, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning I got cut, called my parents, let them know. Obviously I had nowhere to be.
Yeah.
You know, literally just went and...
Your life is totally different now.
I cruised straight to the beach, dude.
Yeah.
I went straight to the beach and I just laid down. I just laid there.
Really?
Probably, yeah, for hours. Literally just laid there, just looking up, just trying to, like... I just remember...
Wow.
I knew it was right. not at the time, but like, looking back, I remember feeling like this weight just literally just releasing off me. I remember just laying down, I'm crying, I'm sitting there looking up, and I just remember taking an exhale. Like, dude, people are starting to probably like look at me now, like I'm laying here distraught on the beach. I just remember exhaling and just having like this crazy weight lifted off my entire being, like all of this on my soul, on my heart, everything was just, I felt just this huge sigh of relief for the first time. I didn't have to worry about proving anything to anybody.
Yeah. All gone.
Yeah. I didn't have to anymore. And I got home and I'm calling everybody. I'm like, hey, I want to play. I want to play. I want to play.
Yeah.
Got my agent looking into indie ball teams. I got all these different workouts for indie ball teams, and I no call, no showed 3 of them.
Yeah. I remember making a call
it.
for you for an indie ball team, and you were like, you know what? I think I'm done. Yeah.
I had several workouts, lined up, and ghosted every one of them.
Yeah.
Went through the troubles of reaching out, put myself out there, and just
your heart wasn't in it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was just more so, and it was. I mean, it wasn't. That feeling of being able to relax for the first time felt too good.
Oh yeah, like I don't want this pressure back on me.
Yeah,
like,
but
just got it off my back.
It's all I ever knew.
Yeah.
That was who I was. I was a baseball player.
Oh, yeah.
I
now we're
tattoos.
getting to like a very interesting part of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I got tattoos on my body of this
It's over.
stuff because I just felt like so undeserving of the whole thing. Like I felt like something somewhere was just pulling the strings, doing the dance with the puppet. Yeah, and I was just along for the ride, and now the ride was over, and I get off and get out, and about my day I go. But there was obviously it was a blessing because I never really had time to sit and sulk about it. Like I went straight into being a dad, really. Like that was like mid-July, I think. Early July, and then my daughter was born in November. So I go from, playing high A Florida State League in June to working in the basement of a local bank, answering customer service phone calls within a month.
Yep.
I
remember that.
So when I say humbled,
I remember you not loving it.
I just, it humbled to me, to most and to many and myself included. I was thankful that I had connections that baseball gave me in a local bank that afforded me a job right away.
Shout out to Jason Knadler and Becca Springfield.
All the guys, man. I mean, it's they got me in, they got me hired, and I got to work. It's exactly what I said I needed to do. I wasn't going to sit and I couldn't sit and sulk, right? I was prepping to be a dad way before I had ever anticipated it.
Right.
So it was very humbling, man. It was something that I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah. Interesting. It might have come into your life at the right time.
I don't question
redirect
that.
To you.
I don't question it for a moment.
Wow.
I mean, I was undoubtedly unwavered. Like it all transpired the exact way that it should. I was able to cut my teeth. I was able to live out a dream. I was able to meet people I never thought I'd meet, go places I never thought I'd go, do things I never thought I'd do with people that got me there. Like these moments where I had with my parents in these pre-draft workouts, and my dad, both my parents coming all across the country to watch me play all these years. And I that moment on the beach that I had after I got cut, it was just like, really everything just coming to the forefront of my mind of like all that I've been through. It's like, how can I be upset by any of this?
Man, that's so beautiful that you can look back and smile on it in that kind of like positive light and pick out the good parts of it. Because there was a lot of beautiful parts to it.
100%. So much to be thankful for, and so many people to be appreciative of and thankful of that that the game brought into my life, and just the people that were around me that helped me get to that point. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, if I could personally thank every single person, I would go hand by hand and shake it and hug them and everything, But again, I had no time to sulk. I had to go straight into being a dad, and that was the beauty of it. But life happens quick, and it seemed like, for me, from the day I got drafted, I mean, I don't know that it's ever stopped since, really. I mean, there's been moments where I feel like you got to decompress a little bit, and you finally get to like take a wide lens view at all that you've been through. And then there's also things that happen in life that bring you dead and stop you dead in your tracks, and you're forced to look back at all of your experiences and all of the things that you've gone through and all the blessings, all the ups and downs, the battles, trials, tribulations, all that. And, it all happened, like I said, the way that it was supposed to. It was just quicker than what I anticipated. The ride just went by much quicker. So, my overarching, I guess, point is just don't get lost in whatever it is that you're doing. Like if you're a kid right now and you're going through, a great season or a bad season, just don't get lost in that. Take every day for what it is. Appreciate all that's in front of you. Appreciate what you're able to do from a baseball and a life perspective. I mean, all these things coincide so closely, like baseball and life, and that's what
the ultimate teacher.
This is about. This podcast is about is,
those connect in big ways.
Absolutely. This is all about celebrating successes and giving people an opportunity to tell their story, but it's also about, what can you give? What takeaways do you have that may help somebody else?
Yeah.
And I think
1,000%. If you can pass those lessons on.
Yeah, that's one for me. Is just take every day and be grateful that you're here, that you have the opportunity to put on a baseball uniform at any level, and just ride it out, man.
Man, you are dropping so much knowledge, buddy. This is incredible. You're making this so easy. People are gonna love this. So it's over now. We're transitioning into being a dad. We're working at the Bank of Springfield. We're working on a better life. If at some point you go back to school here.
Yeah, I took that first year that my daughter was born, I took off. So in my contract, and I think I failed to mention this actually, the reason why that I ended up being so okay with taking less money than my slotted value was that I got my final 2 years of college paid for.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Or like a certain amount that I knew would cover, 2 years. So, I took that year that my daughter was born, started school, I think, in 2017 and went consistently until I finished my bachelor's in 2019. I'd worked, several different jobs. I worked for the bank. I sold insurance.
You did a little bit of this and that.
Yeah, just trying to find my way, man.
Yeah.
I had never thought about a job, truthfully.
You thought you were going to be in the big leagues.
Seriously.
You said you were going to be playing with Mookie Betts.
I never thought I would have a job ever. Yeah. It was never even a thought. Like I thought, like when I was a kid, I'd maybe be like a sports announcer, like because I was obsessed with ESPN.
Yeah.
I thought that maybe that'd be something cool, but I wouldn't even let myself think of that because I was so one-track minded on sports. So, I spent a good portion of those first few years out of ball just trying to find a lane to fit into, and never really found anything that was that fulfilling.
Right.
And that was a struggle for me.
How are you going to find something as fulfilling as baseball?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I always told myself. If I find anything that I enjoy half as much as I enjoyed playing baseball, then I'll know that I found my career.
You're never going to find that again.
Yeah,
I don't think.
And the way life works, man, it's crazy. I feel like I'm in something now where I do feel that and then some. I feel like I'm a part of something way bigger.
Can you tell? You care to tell?
I'm in medical device now. I sell implants that they use in spine surgery. So I'm in surgery all day, pretty much every day.
Yeah,
work with some local doctors, some not so local, but it's crazy because my boss is somebody that we hope to bring on this podcast, and the way that
baseball connection,
the way that I even have this job is through the game of baseball itself. I mean, I got this job through a friend of a friend, somebody that I met, whose son I coached. He became a mentor of mine pretty quickly after that I had met him and coached his son's team. We hit it off, and I mean, literally the only reason why I have the job in the industry that I have it in is through the game of baseball, through a friend of a friend. And the list of things like that goes on and on. I mean, the
Billy
connections.
Clayton is who we're talking about.
Yeah, Bill Clayton. Yep.
But the famous Clayton baseball fan. Here
like I said,
we'll
hopefully be a guest on this show someday.
Love to have him on.
But I mean, and again, the coolest thing about baseball for those that get to go and do it, high school and even more so through college or upper ranks, professionally, is the people that you meet along the way. The decision that I made to play with the Springfield team when I was 12 years old ultimately had one of the most everlasting effects on my life because of the people that I met. These are so people that I consider my best friends.
Yeah.
People that have helped me in business, that I've helped in business, that have helped me get jobs. I've helped them get jobs. Is people I lean into for life advice, professional advice, career advice. That's not to say I wouldn't have got that if I stayed in Lincoln, but it's just amazing to see, and really look back and see all that baseball has given me. The connections and the doors that it's opened for me, and just the mindset that it's afforded me.
Yeah.
All that I've went through is, shaped me to who I am, and I'm proud of it all. I'm so proud of everything that happened. There's nothing about it, any of it that I regret. I hold no ill will towards anybody, even the coach that I felt like had it out for me from day one in pro ball.
Yeah.
I hold no ill will, man. It was such a blessing, just an incredible, time in my life. Like anybody that's going to come on here, it's just something that you don't often get a chance to talk about. Yeah. Rarely do you even think about it, but
it's been fun to open up some of these stories.
And I hope, that others will feel the same. I think, like we said at the beginning, like you do a very good job of making this very easy, for me and for anybody that comes on. So
I want to come in well prepared, and I can have an idea of where I want to go and have an idea about someone's career before we just start talking, so I can help them. Because it's not always easy to just talk about yourself.
Certainly not, man.
We were all raised to not talk about ourselves, so it's to be sitting here and talking about your story is difficult at times.
And I hope people will, appreciate that for what it is. Like you are being handed a microphone and you are being asked to talk about yourself. And
for sure. You've done amazing, brother.
You don't have to, make it anything other than what it is in its simplest form. But I hope people find some enjoyment and hopefully getting to do this themselves.
Brother, we've you've taken us on such a journey here. This is incredible.
I'm grateful, man.
I'd like to take us out here with some questions, some baseball questions, if you're cool with that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'll try to avoid really lengthy ones, but we'll see. An interesting thing that you talked about multiple times was that you're someone that has struggled with kind of being an anxious player, a guy at times. And do you have any advice for a player coming up that struggles with anxiety and kind of controlling his mind at times?
Yeah. Well, first thing I want to say is you're not wrong for having very, very high, sometimes unrealistic expectations for yourself. Mm-hmm. So don't let the fear of not reaching those goals keep you from setting those goals.
Okay.
I think a lot of my anxiety was based upon the fact that I had such high expectations for myself.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't think that I would have succeeded or had as much success as I did or gotten to the places that I got to if I didn't have such crazy, unrealistic expectations. So
damn, that's good.
Just understand that there's two sides to that coin.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that early on, or soon enough rather, that there are two sides to that coin. If you're going to place those expectations on yourself, you better be able to swim in those deep waters that you're putting yourself into.
Damn, yeah.
And if you can't, then don't. Then find a new lane to get into. Find a new way to, motivate yourself or find a new way to keep your drive alive. But, don't be afraid of stress. Don't be afraid of anxiety. It molds you. It forms you. It turns you into a new person. Mm-hmm. If you go through things so unassuming and just let things happen as they may, you may miss a few things along the way. So, just breathing treatment. I mean, for me, it was huge just to focus my breath. I would count, inhale for 8, hold for 4, exhale for 8, just. Absolutely. And I think I shared this on the last one too. I watched a YouTube video when I was 8th grade of, Evan Longoria is a major leaguer talking about how, when he's in the box, he steps out and he looks at the left field foul pole.
Settle his mind, yeah.
Because he knows it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Find something like that. When I got into pro ball and I was working with the psychology, the sports team psychologist, he talked about having a reset button on your hip.
Yeah.
You got the easy button on your desk at work, whatever. You smack that thing and you reset. That's your reset button. You flush the drain. You get all the negative thoughts, all the overwhelming thoughts out of your mind.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me. Breath work and the reset button on my hip.
That's beautiful, man. I really appreciate you giving us that advice here because I had struggles with that in that same kind of ballpark.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids
stuff.
do.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the best baseball movie of all time?
Sandlot.
Sandlot?
No question.
No question.
It's probably the last movie that I actually saw start to finish. I don't watch movies much, but I've seen Sandlot probably 10,000 times.
I don't think you can go wrong with that, man. What a classic.
No, I mean I liked all of them.
Movie.
Moneyball, Field of Dreams, they're all good, but for me it was Sandlot. That was a staple in my childhood.
What is the best baseball video game of all time? If you played baseball video games.
Oh yeah, dude, I like the show series. They got the current one, the MLB The Show, but you can't go wrong with MVP baseball back on the PlayStation.
There was something really special about it.
I think it was 04 with Manny Ramirez and
amazing.
They wouldn't give Barry Bonds his name. They called him
John Dowd.
John Dowd.
John Dowd.
John Dowd hitting. He was right-handed white guy hitting 800-foot home
everything.
runs. Yeah. They wouldn't give Barry his love, man.
John Dowd.
They would not put Barry in the game, so they made him a right fielder that was white, number 99.
That's
right.
right.
Hit right-handed.
Yeah.
Johnny Dowd. No, MVP 04 was that's a legendary game.
What a special game it really was.
Yeah.
That series. And then it transitioned into NCAA at one point.
Yeah, that was, dude, those games were awesome.
And they got rid of it.
Should bring it back, man.
Forever a classic in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, buddy. Your favorite metal bat of all time, and then the model of wood bat you used and that you preferred.
Favorite metal bat, man. I was in the BESR, like
Right.
the
You're
days
in bat
of,
changes.
dude. I was in the days where they were dangerous, and then they went like awful. Like I was in the
Dead.
BESR to the BB Core
Yeah.
transition, and the
Yeah,
first few BB Core bats were pretty good, but my favorite bat of all time was the Orange Stealth.
Oh man.
The orange and blue
Yeah.
Stealth, dude. That bat was not
Is that
safe.
the year that you had at Lincoln Land with?
No, that was BB Core.
Okay, was
we
it
were at
really?
BB Core, yeah. Yeah, I used the white Nike, and then we used the Easton bat the next year. Wood bat, man. I had some custom models that I came across in Pro Ball.
Mm-hmm.
One was through Zinger Bat Company, a KW20, what it was called. I believe it was kind of like their spin on a C243 with like a
The big barrel.
yeah, like a 243. I don't think it's not C243. It's just 243.
For Louisville?
Yeah.
Louisville is C243.
Okay, so it was their spin on that and
Yeah.
like a 318, S318.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
Louisville, like the most like not customized model, it was the S318. Christian Yelich put me on the
I love
S318.
the S318 as well.
Yeah, that was a very good bat, man.
It's good. It was like balanced, but it had a little bit of head on it.
Dude, I had some awesome Louisville bats that were sent to me once it was all S318s.
I've got one of your customs. You gave it to me. It's got
Yeah,
Ryan
that's a
Aper on it.
golden
It's one of my
one, dude.
prized, buddy.
Man, that's a good bat right there.
Yeah.
If you ever find yourself in a men's league and you need some lasers,
No, dude, I'm never taking that out of the wrapper.
that bat's got hits
No,
in it.
It's
I'll
special
promise
to
you
me.
that.
It's special to me. All right.
Yeah, that was my favorite though. 318.
Favorite field you ever played at? Or coolest, favorite, whatever you want to call it.
Man, that's a tough one. I think, Greensboro was one of the coolest just because of the fan engagement. I mean, like I said, we were playing in front of 15,000 on a thirsty Thursday. You got drunk college kids all over.
Yeah.
Every big league stadium I got to play in, although it was big league spring training games, like
Mhm.
at big league spring training facilities.
Still very cool, yeah.
Yeah, really cool experiences. Minor league wise, some of the parks that stick out to me, from the New York Penn League, Aberdeen, Maryland,
Ironbirds.
Ironbirds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
It's a
favorite
nice
of mine.
yard, yeah.
Yeah, very cool place. Just a cool atmosphere.
Mhm.
Greenville, South Carolina was very cool. Yeah, I mean, when you're in the Florida State League, you're playing in the big league spring training on the field. So any of those fields was really cool. Those are probably my favorite for sure.
All right. Best teammate.
Hmm.
Dusty struggled with this because I could see why. It's hard to name. Like,
Yeah, that's why I said earlier. You asked my funniest teammate. I think it was just that group, man. That group of the summer ball that
call
we
Stallions
moved.
the best teammates too.
Yeah, the Stallions were, man. We were just brothers. I mean, truthfully, our families loved everybody. I mean, it was very tight knit.
Most talented teammate or most talented guy you ever played with.
I'm gonna answer this twofold.
There we go.
I'm gonna say the guys that did not make it, did not get into
That was gonna be my
professional
next question.
experience.
So awesome. Thank you for jumping ahead. Yeah.
And this is not a knock to anybody else that I played with, but the two guys that stick out to me, just in terms of overall talent, were Michael Hurwitz, who played at University of Illinois, and Caleb Howell, who
Interesting.
played at Eastern. Those two were, those were the guys that I was chasing. I always felt like I was chasing them from a talent perspective.
Okay.
I played with some great pitchers as well. Bryce Sablotny was a very good pitcher. He went to Carbondale. And then, man, from the professional side, I played with. Yeah, that's a good one. Teammate, right? Teammate, not guys I played against.
You can
Teammate.
say if someone you played against.
Well, I mentioned the Greenville team earlier. Greenville Drive is a Red Sox affiliate. I mean, they literally have 4 All-Stars on their team, 4 future
that's
All-Stars on their
crazy.
team at once.
Yeah.
A fifth or sixth big league guy. Now, Michael Chavez as well. But, Yohan Moncada, Rafael Devers, Andrew Benintendi, Michael Kopech,
Yeah, those names are
Michael Chavez. They got Sam Travis. These are show league guys.
Yeah.
Teammate-wise, though, man, I played with some pitchers that were, very, very good that are in the big leagues now. One of my favorite guys, I guess, that I always cheered for that was in the Marlins organization was a guy by the name of Austin Dean. A roommate of mine for a brief period of time, Brian Anderson. He's in the big leagues right now with the
Sure.
Brewers, having a great start to his year.
Mm-hmm.
he was just a hitter, man. I have share a quick story about Brian. So Brian got drafted out of Arkansas, like second or third round, and this was my second year in the Penn League. Was his draft year.
Mhm.
So I didn't know Brian at all. Had no idea who he was. He gets drafted with another kid from Arkansas, and they're kind of buddies coming in. And Brian's like, "I'm gonna hit a home run my first at bat." And I remember my first at bat in pro ball. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, dude." His buddy Eric Fisher, who came with him from Arkansas, was like, "No, dude. Like when he says shit like that, he actually does it."
Happening?
He hit a bomb his
Oh,
first
shit.
at bat.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like then I was like, I'm all in on Brian Anderson. Guy's still in the league. So
Guy's magic.
I would say Brian was
Okay.
up there for sure.
All right. The best coach or your favorite manager that you ever played for?
I mean, best coaching staff was at Lincoln Land for sure. Just
Yeah.
from a human being standpoint.
Well said. Well said.
Justin, from a
Justin Knadler.
yeah, Justin Knadler from a baseball specific, like whether it be hitting,
Yeah.
the best hitting instruction that I would say I received was from Justin.
Cool.
And then I got the opportunity to work with Andy Barquette,
Yeah.
who ended up in the big leagues for a while as a big league hitting coach. He was just an incredible human being, man. Just a very smart guy, very, very baseball savvy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a guy I'll never forget either. Just he had that aura about him that was like, this guy's different. This is a big league coach, right here.
For sure. What was the most fun year in baseball for you?
Yeah, I gotta go 2013, man.
Yeah, how
I
can
gotta
you not,
go
man? That is
2013. Yeah.
Magic.
I mean, it didn't end the way that we wanted it to, but just from a selfish standpoint,
Sure.
it
Having
just-
the greatest season of your career.
yeah, everything was just very, very easy.
Yeah, lined up.
Everything was very easy that year.
Most memorable game of your life. Or best game, if you want to say. that,
There's
like,
two, so I'll give you a college one. I didn't really have many like memorable, minor league games. I had one that was, I was in at Lincoln Land, and I was sick as a dog, man. I was super dehydrated. It was a regional game,
Mm-hmm.
first round of regionals. I was sick. I was drinking Pedialyte just to be able to get on the field. I ended up going 5 for 5 that game. I was the first player in like Region 24 history or something to go 5 for 5 in a game. And I was literally going in and laying down. Like if I wasn't on the field, I was laying down in the dugout. Like I was
like a
not
Michael Jordan
well.
flu game.
It was. It was my
Yeah.
dehydration, like flu bug or what. I don't know what it was. I
Yeah.
was not well. Professionally, man, there was a couple. So my mom was there. Both my parents were there for my first professional home run in State College, Pennsylvania. I was on a terrible stretch. Could not hit the broadside of a barn. I was late in the game. I hit a home run to put us up and actually win the game late. So that was really cool that they were there for the first one. And then I think, man, this is might have been the last game that my dad got to watch me play. I made one of the most amazing, like one of those catches that you make where you stand up and you're like, how the hell did I just do that?
How's this in my glove right
Seriously, no, it was exactly like that. I broke straight back on a ball. I put my head down. I looked up just in time to go full extension, running straight back, and made like a sweeping, diving straight back catch. And my dad was actually like posted up in the outfield at
now?
the time.
Got a great view of it.
Might have even gotten like a picture of me diving for this
That's
ball,
so cool.
but that might have been. I think if it wasn't the last game, it was definitely one of the last games that my dad got to see me play.
Yeah.
And I just remember just thinking to myself, like, if that is it, like, I gave him something to – I think I might have hit a home run the day before. Like, when my parents were in town, I always did really good, dude.
Yeah,
It was so
good for
weird.
you.
In pro ball, my parents come. I always did really well. But that moment for sure was, from a game standpoint, was probably the coolest. Just that catch that I made was probably the best of my life.
Yeah.
Knowing my dad got to see it was really cool.
That's really special.
Yeah. Yeah,
Any
it was.
pregame rituals or superstitions that you
I was a big music
had?
guy.
A what?
I was a big music guy. I was
Yeah.
always just dancing, rapping,
Bopping.
singing, bopping. Yeah, I was doing it all, man. I was high energy. I was always messing around, trying to just get people to laugh. But yeah, I was always in music, big time. I was always headphones in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my ritual. I would say, just
All right.
jamming out.
Well, buddy, we're at the end here.
It's been
So,
a pleasure, man.
Man, what a fun experience.
It's been a
this
pleasure,
has been.
man. It really has been.
This has been so fun for me to hear you go through your story. We're close. We're close friends, so I know a lot of this, but
Yeah.
we went into layers that we've never talked about before, and I think
Yeah.
you just dropped so much knowledge. And one thing I wanted to leave you with before we get out of here is that you had such an impact on the Lincoln Land program. I want you to know it, because I just think that for years to come, Lincoln Land, the program is going to be able to say, we have this guy that was a 6th-round pick. He got $250,000. He was player of the year. So nobody can go to Lincoln Land and say, I'm bigger than Lincoln Land. I can't be here. It's just they can always point to you and that success you had. Same with Justin,
Yeah. Well, the coolest thing about that is now, like, they've got a more recent graduate, Nick Maton, who's in the show right now.
Right, yeah.
And
it's like,
I'm not going to take any credit for him going there. I know he went D1 out of high school first, I believe, at least. I don't know him personally. I've heard nothing but good things about the kid. But, I mean, that to me, like I said, I don't take any credit for him going there. I know the way that
I'll give you some credit.
I know the way that Bull recruits, and I know that he uses players that have had success as a selling pitch. Like, to
That's
your
what
point,
I'm saying.
you don't have to go to the big schools to be the guy.
Right.
And
you can do it right here.
yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that I would say about that, I mean, first of all, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It's something I hold, very near and dear to my heart, is that program in and of itself, and all the people that have come before me and come after me.
I'm very proud to be a logger too.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood, man. And if any of those kids ever need anything, whether they play with me or not, I hope that they know they could reach out. I was, always told that. I was able to talk to O'Malley a few times.
Yeah.
It's a very good place to be. And just never assume that there's a one-way ticket to where you want to be.
Yeah.
That would be my biggest thing. And I had to accept that too. But don't be afraid to bet on yourself. I mean, it takes a set of cojones for sure to maybe turn down a mid-major D1 school to say, I'm going to go focus solely on baseball.
Sure.
And obviously get your grades. I'm not saying totally check out and be an idiot, but no, you're not too big for it. I mean, if you're good, they're going to find you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So thank you again. You took us on the journey of, being at the top of the mountain to being at the very bottom quickly. You were very open with all your struggles and what you've been through, and I just want to say thank you so much for that. Like I always say, I'm a big believer in time being the most valuable thing we have. So thank you for giving me some of your time. Everyone out there listening, thank you for giving me some of your time. And stay tuned. We've got more guests coming up, and this was amazing. So thank you. Thank you, Ape.
Yeah, man. Thank you again. Just like you said, we got more to come, so stick around.
All right, brother. We are out.